What's up, everyone? Koukyuu here, and welcome to episode 36 of the Weebs of the Roundtable podcast, aka the last podcast of 2022. In this podcast, we're going to be talking. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about our final thoughts on the fall 2022 season. So, joining me right here is Memory NK, Ryusei Mad Out of Culture, and for the first time in years, actually, we have a brand new member of the podcast, Anepode Reviews. So, Anepode, why don't you introduce yourself to those who may not know about you?
Sure. I'm from Sweden. My favorite genres are mostly romance or slice of life. And except for anime, I like soccer, football. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we're glad
I can tell from your posters behind you that you're a fan of quintuplets like me. So
quintuplets, we got on Taxi over there. I know Memory liked that one too.
Yeah.
This is actually the.
Yeah.
This is actually just kind of. It's really nice to get get a different perspective
Face.
on the table here.
Mm-hmm.
Since I know he has some really interesting picks on how he feels about seasonal anime. So yeah,
I gotta say,
interesting.
Anepode review, your taste in anime is very
Very based.
very basic and one-sided. It's easy to guess what you like and stuff. So
I think that's a good thing, though. I attract the right subscribers to me. They know what to expect from me. So,
for me though, I'm quite mixed though. It's very hard.
Yeah, I'm very hard
to predict I'm very hard to predict what I like and stuff. So, but still though, like I can say it's good to have someone from Europe this time. We don't have anyone from Europe in this podcast.
Yeah, because of the time zones. I have vacation now, so I'm up at 3 a.m. here too.
Sweden right now is like midnight.
Yeah, it's past midnight. It's 3:30 a.m. right now.
Oh, by the way, I do reaction at 3:30 a.m., so it's normal. So, but still, though, it's good to have someone from Europe to join the podcast to increase our, ideas on anime. So, yeah, it's good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to have you too.
All right, so without further ado, let's get to it. So usually when we talk about anime, we start by popularity. We go on My Anime List and we work our way down. However, this time, we've decided to try and go by alphabetical order. So the first anime we're actually going to talk about is Akiba Maid War.
AKA Yakuza War.
Yes, Yakuza, but with maids. And to be honest, I actually really enjoyed this anime.
I don't blame you. I can see the appeal for you.
I dropped
for
this
sure.
anime.
I just want to see how many people die, so I just watch the end.
Honestly, the first episode as it did, probably for a lot of people, grabbed
The attention.
pretty easily grabbed people's attention, but it's very quickly declined after that for me. It didn't
I
last.
don't blame you, man.
Yeah, it did not. It did not
It's
last
not like
long.
well, the first episode I didn't like, but it was kind of funny enough to at least continue.
And that was
And
the
it just
problem.
got more and more and more boring with each.
The reason
episode.
why the first episode sells because you just introduced war gun and stuff like that. But that's the problem though. You just went wild with the first episode, and then people expect this like more like that. But then it just kind of became repetitive and just got boring. I think after like episode 3, I just say, yeah, I can see a repetitiveness in this, and it's just that this whole maid gang war thing is just. I don't know. It just doesn't really sit well with me with Akihabara because like if you want to do something like that, do it in Shinjuku. Why did you do it in Akihabara, man? So, this whole theme, I was like, no, doesn't really sit well with me, man.
To be honest, the whole gang war thing and Akiba and mates, that in itself, I think is a very unique thing to do.
It's unique,
so that I give it a plus. But I don't think the animation was directed in a way that could have, kept the excitement there, and therefore I
gotta say
decided to drop it eventually.
Yeah.
The first episode was great. It was very unique. It was the whole singing while running and shooting was
they
awesome.
keep the theme of otaku quite well though. It's just that this whole gang thing, it just kind of ruins it. I was like, okay, so it's a maid going around going to other cafes, infiltrating them and just shooting their bosses and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, it's unique, but sorry, this whole direction of world of Yakuza and Akihabara. No, please. I just don't like it.
I think
nothing wrong with the animation. By the way, the animation was simple enough for us to enjoy, but
That's
not
usually
everything
the
else.
thing with PA works. I think usually they have great animation, but the stories are usually meh. So
Yeah,
Man,
Works, you
very
failed
mad,
me
I know.
again with
especially with the originals. I've always
Yeah.
said this. The PA Works originals are like the most hit or miss things ever.
Ever.
they
Ever.
Let's all
usually
agree to that.
they usually make originals too. I think the last one
To be
was
honest, lately PA work's been meh in a lot of the work, except for I think it was Kill Me, Paprikomi.
Yeah,
That's it.
Paprikomi was actually
That's
a
it.
nice hit.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah.
I will say that my feelings about it aren't as strong as I feel like it nowadays. Although I think it's more. I think it was just kind of more like how I was thinking about it afterwards. Like, I kind of wish the overall present could have been better, but it was a nice surprise. But it was an adaptation, so. And then it trying to go back to doing originals, and this one easily one of the most disappointing shows for me this season. Because regardless of how
Can't
I
be
felt
that
about the
bad.
first episode, it just got less and less, interesting. Like it felt like it didn't even know what to fucking do in the end. And it's also
I think-
related to another show that unfortunately I know
Akame
Memory really knows about, is kind of more familiar with, but we'll get to that later. It really doesn't seem to know what it wants to do. Does it want to, like, yeah, there's some references, but what is it trying to do? What is it really trying to do in the end? Well, it's not develop the characters. Is it trying to be a parody of sorts, or in a crude way? That didn't do a good job at that. Did it try to be some melodramatic sort of Yakuza themed sort of narrative? That it didn't do well in that. They tried to shove that in at the last moment, and it just flopped. Like I didn't know. Like
I have like a theory.
I feel like the typical. What I always hate about these shows, about this, is when they try to insert this last minute conflict with barely much build up at all, even a little, and it's just like it's not even interesting enough to be like, oh, what's gonna happen with that? And like, especially the part with the panda, I'm just like, yeah, that's it. That's
the
the
panda
real
was shit,
identity of
though.
panda.
The panda was
It's
shit,
just
though.
not relevant enough. And Nagami is terrible. I'm sorry, she didn't develop for shit.
No, trust me. I agree with you with anime. Like I find her like one of the least entertaining girl this season, and like what she does throughout the season, just whine and just like scream and just trying to be like one of those like annoying supporting characters. In my view, to be honest. But I can somehow see why this anime was made in the first place, because like I have a feeling that they may have inspired this concept from another not related anime but related that concept, but like I think like because of it they saw like Yakuza, okay, maybe sometimes we love the fans from overseas when it's like a bit of a violence
like,
going on.
Maybe
like,
you're trying to follow
violence.
the steps of maybe you're trying to follow in the steps of Zombieland Saga. Maybe that's what they're trying to aim for.
Zombieland Saga is like no, I don't think so. I think is that I think they're trying to like I think something to do with like, okay, something we can really make the appeal of Yakuza, but like just show the fact that maids can also be badass. Like, no, don't make maids badass. They are there as just being maids. Why you have to make them shoot guns at each other? So I just assume that's what they say. You know what? Let's just try something very wild. So, well, this wild idea just make things even more awkward for us going to Akihabara now. So
that's what it seems like with a lot of the like they have these concepts that they're just trying, like hoping that something like sticks or something. I don't know. But for this one, I think they just, in my opinion at least, I feel like they threw all like they I don't know. They threw like all their eggs in one basket, like the very beginning of the series. And I get it, you want to try and I get it, you want to try and draw people in, or like get them interested in your series, but I don't know. The still to this point, episode 1 was the most by far the most interesting thing to me.
Of
So
course.
I don't know. But like after that, it's just I kind of like what Ryu said. I don't know what the show wanted to be because you had like these melodramatic moments. You had like these very absurd like comedic moments. You have just a lot kind of going on, and you're just
Yeah.
like, what the?
I mean,
yeah,
they did introduce
like-
the final boss though. In the end, they just introduced the main one, the main.
I didn't even make
It
it
just
that
felt
far.
so
Like,
conceited. This Nagi antagonist. It just felt so ham-fisted. Just like, okay,
I'm pretty
you're
sure
the bad guy.
I'm pretty sure this just got
And
thrown in.
I'm supposed to care why? There's nothing from any of these characters that make me feel like I'm supposed to give a damn. Not even for Ranko. They tried for Ranko. They did, but it didn't work out because
I
she
didn't
gets
even
killed
like
in the
her at all,
most.
man.
She gets killed in the most, like the most shameful way ever. Just stabbed in the back by some
To be honest, that's
some
just lazy
rando.
writing. That's just lazy writing. That's how she died like that. I just like really. She died like that, and it was not even the final episode. I was even more disappointed.
I would have been okay if. Why did Naomi live? What was the point of that? She deadass got shot, and she probably was bleeding out. Or this Nagi bitch was sorry. This Nagi character just had terrible aim at the last time. I have nothing good to say about the show at all. Like the aesthetics are just like
real. You're being a bit too harsh for Kawhi right now. Kawhi, just try and defend.
I know Kawhi.
Oh wait, Kawhi's muted.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
Like
need
I
to
don't want to
mess up
feel.
yourself.
I don't want to make Kawhi feel bad. It's just like I can't. It's just like I
I
can't.
forgot to unmute myself.
It's just that I can't. It's just that I like no matter how much I try to hope there's something decent enough that will come up, it just gets put down in the same episode. Like oh, we get a Naga be badass when she's a ninja, and then she just like it's just go like all that shit's gone in the same episode.
Okay, I'll get
That she's
yeah.
featured.
Kawhi,
in that.
you gotta get a real talk like that. Reply.
No,
reply,
I mean,
man.
I know
Reply.
Let him finish.
I
I'll
know
let
it
him
can
finish.
vibe with other. I know it can.
Reply,
I know where it can vibe with other people. I know because it's just balls to the wall silliness, and if you can handle how repetitive it may seem, it's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna. If that's your thing, then go for it. It's just not mine. That's all there is to it. And there's still the fundamental, even then, there's still the fundamental issues that it did have in the end. It just doesn't feel like it. I felt like a good payoff in the end. Just like something you just watch for a season and you just forget, right? And you just forget soon afterwards, after a few days or so. At least that's what I felt.
Go, Kawhi. Go.
okay.
Let's hear you,
So,
Kawhi.
okay. So at first, like if I dropped this series like around like the halfway mark, then yeah, I would agree with you guys. Cause like, yeah, it did feel like for a while that it was kind of going nowhere. And honestly, I did actually like before we did this podcast, I actually did consider like skipping this altogether, but that was before I actually finished this entire series. And after finishing this series, I'm actually surprised by how much I enjoy this. Now, the reason why I say this is that, yes, I do agree with some of you guys' points. Like I said this in the last podcast too. Like they shouldn't have like hyped this up with that first episode and then made the episodes after that just progressively less, insane and batshit crazy. I think I still don't agree with that choice, but I mean, it is what it is because I still ended up enjoying it nonetheless. And I thought I thought this series wasn't going to go anywhere too. But then as I watched more of this series, I was surprised by how much I was like, by how it handled like some of the more like genuine moments, like the more heartfelt, more serious moments. Like I really liked that. And some of the moments, and by genuine like serious moments, I of course talk about like some of the most impactful like scenes and themes that we've seen in this anime, like Nerula's death, that whole Ranko's romance with the with Soihiro, that scene in episode 11 where Ranko, she's just begging, Nagi not to, begging not to kill Nagumi, because she likes both the cafe and Nagi herself because, they're sworn sisters. And also, Ranko's, actual death. I mean, honestly, I was surprisingly enthralled by it. And honestly, I know you guys talk about how, you're not too into Ranko, but honestly, I feel like her character development in the series is really well done. Because in the first, few episodes, we see her as this cold-blooded, mature, serious all the time maid who is really good at shooting shit. But then, as the series progresses, we see her, warming up to the cafe more and more. She's cherishing those moments that she spent with her coworkers, and with Nagumi. However, she said it herself, she forfeited her happiness a long time ago. And that's ultimately what led to her downfall, because she thought for a moment, from the time she spent in the cafe to her love for Suihiro, she was thinking for a moment that maybe someone like her can actually find happiness. But it wasn't to be in the end. That's what led to her downfall. That's what led to her death, because she let her guard down, which is something that Ranko back in the first few episodes wouldn't have done. She wouldn't have let herself get stabbed in the back, but that's exactly what happened. That's how she died back in episode 11. She got stabbed in the back, and then she just died with guilt and with regrets. And that's what honestly makes her death so sad, because, with other fictional characters, when they die, a lot of them die contempt, fulfilling, all the stuff that they wanted to do, finding friends and all that. Ranko, on the other hand, died with regret because, she died with guilt. Because she died wanting to spend more time with the cafe and, in Akihabara being a maid with her friends and all that, and all these unaccomplished, dreams. And honestly, I just really think her death, that scene was just it was crazy. It was actually kind of impactful. I think the only real complaint I had with that scene is that she got killed by some no-name maid, which I wish wasn't really the case, especially considering the fact that her, the same maid ended up killing Nagi. And honestly, I do agree. I don't really like what they did with that maid, because it made her turn to, I guess, killing the villain. It didn't seem all that organic. I wish that could have been done better. But yeah, honestly, other than that, I really enjoyed the more serious, more emotional moments in this series. I think it's done surprisingly well. In fact, it kind of the balance between the humor, the over-the-top humor, and the humor, the over-the-top action, and the serious moments. It kind of reminds me of the Yakuza games, because that also has a comedic flair to it, while also having very serious moments. Now, of course, I'm not saying Akiba Maid War does it as good as the Yakuza games, but it does remind me of the Yakuza games in a way that, the comedic moments and the serious moments, they don't feel out of place. They're not oil and water. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that series. So yeah, honestly, I enjoyed the series a lot more than I thought I would. Now, of course, it's not without its faults. It's not my favorite show of the season. I think the main villain, Nagi, I thought she was just she was very over the top. She's basically shooting everybody, and all that, just killing left and right. I thought she was just very over the top, especially also including also think that way about some of the other nobody ass maids that trash talk the Oinky Doink Cafe. I thought they were just kind of okay, yeah, we get it after a while. You hate Oinky Doink Cafe. I thought I was just kind of overdone. I do think that Nagumi's character development could have been done better. I do agree I understand why you guys don't like her, and it wasn't really made clear what exactly they wanted to do with Nagumi, throughout the series. But I understand why, they made her live in the final episode and all that, because she evidently ended the cycle. For the ending, mixed at first, but then like I understand why they need her to like live through the end, because she effectively ended like the cycle of bloodshed in Akihabara. She basically taught the maids like through her like through the song, through her determination to be peaceful and all of that. She basically ended that cycle of bloodshed, and I can get behind that. She basically made Akihabara into a much better place. Also, I feel like another flaw I have with the series, I think they could have done more with the other maids in the Onkidoin Cafe, like Zoya and what was that Gyaru's name? I think her name was like Shimpon. But yeah, but that's just more of a nitpick or anything, if anything. But yeah, other than that, Akiba Maid War, really great show, at least in my opinion. I do understand why you guys don't like it though.
It seems like to me, at least from like even just in here, I feel like there's no like in between. Like I feel like people either love or hate this one. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Like I could see both sides of the equation.
Yeah.
But yeah, any final thoughts on Akiba Maid War?
No, I'm glad it's over.
Okay, cool.
There's a final thought.
Understandable. Okay, understandable. All right, let's move on to I'm the Villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. Honestly,
I gotta sit this one out because I cannot don't know. I just don't know what to say about it. So.
It's the lame.
I don't like these villainous. I don't like these villainous series.
Why is this a trend? Making a female protagonist as the second protagonist is not gonna make it an inherently better. And it turns into shoujo shit. So can we skip this?
Yeah,
I actually enjoyed this.
Planning to watch this because this reminds me.
I can see they trying to compete with Katarina, the other Otome game.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That is not working, man.
It's Walmart.
That is not working. Katarina Otome game is already the goated.
It's 99-cent Katarina.
I didn't even like that one, so I
dropped
dropped that.
Well, yeah, that says a lot too.
Yeah, I
wasn't liking that one either.
I didn't like
season 2.
I didn't really like season 2, so I how can I enjoy this one?
These villainous ones are just not my. They're just not my cup of tea, and we're seeing like a lot of them now. And I think
that's
it's because
issue.
of Katarina and that series.
They tried to jump on that trend. And it's just
I don't remember
not
seeing
working.
like any of those, if any, before that one.
To
be honest, though, I don't even like the main girl.
It's like that. Like the villainous thing is becoming a trend in the farming.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know, right? At least the ending's kind of cool, I guess. The
opening
theme.
is catchy, though.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the opening is catchy by Rii Takahashi. So that's the only thing I like about the anime.
The opening ending theme at least got something. I will give it that.
But everything else in the anime, Kawhi, go ahead, defend it.
Well, I mean, to be honest,
gosh.
I mean, I do. Honestly, I think really, I said all the shit I said about this series back in the last podcast can be applied here. I still think. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I mean, like I said before in the last podcast, I like Eileen. I think this is definitely a much different. At least this is a much different role from the usual characters that Rie Takahashi voices. Like in this series, Rie Takahashi voices like this very confident, this very secure, very strong heroine. And as contrast to a lot of our other characters, where they're like, they're cutesy, they're moe, they're very, they're all that kind of waifu material. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed Eileen as a character. I like her chemistry with Claude. I like the other characters as well. I just find her bullying Claude most of the time. So it's kind of the other way around most of the time. Actually, it's Claude kind of bullying
the
her.
End, at the end of the season, it's mostly her. But still, man, I just like those two have a very interesting chemistry going on there. But yeah, I enjoyed them like doing fun things between each other, especially with Eileen. But that's it. I just lost track with how the story progresses. So.
I will say also, I do think Kana Hanazawa plays a pretty good villain. Like, I never thought that Mayuri's voice would evoke such dread, but here Kana Hanazawa does it. I mean, with this villain.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then also the complaints I had with this series are pretty much the same from the last podcast as well. I still think the pacing could have been done better. The pacing was off.
Maybe that's the reason why I couldn't enjoy it. The pacing was weird.
Yeah, I can understand that. Also, I think they could have improved the animation. Oh my god! Speaking of the animation, oh my god!
I mean, it's just bad overall.
I mean, I understand.
I don't think we need to point out anything in particular.
I mean, I understand this is not from some big budget studio, but it's like, oh my god, you could have at least given this series a bit more time. Like in the last episode, there was
they aired it early. They had it. They aired it. It was one of the earlier ones to start broadcasting before anything else.
Yo, like I don't know if you guys remember, but in the last episode, they had like these Pegasus creatures, and they were just still silhouettes. They were just like a silhouette of like the wings weren't even moving. They're just static 2D pictures.
Why do you
guys
make me remember that?
And they're just like moving across the screen. They're not. They didn't even bother making animated trying to fly. It's oh my god!
Did they?
Is it worse than the car from that one series?
Oh, Detective is already dead.
Tamoshi?
Yeah,
it's pretty high up there. It's pretty high up there.
It's close. It's close.
Still cannot believe that got season 2, but yeah.
Oh my god! Don't even.
Didn't you enjoy that?
Why Tamoshi season 2?
Out of all
Angie, what are you doing? Karaka, what are you doing?
I can't believe they're getting season 2, man.
Mom Sicka's getting a second season 2.
Anyhow, yeah.
This is literally just to fill in TV broadcast slots. Oh my.
I completely forgot about Tamoshi's until he brought it up. But yeah, anyways, back to this.
Move on before I start blowing
back to this. Okay, overall,
that. Please.
Overall, Villainess. I'm the Villainess to Tape Final Boss. Really enjoyable. I kind of wish Oliver was here because I know he watched this series as well. But it is what it is.
Thanks to me, by the way. Thanks to me.
Thanks to you. Okay, let's move. All right, let's move on to a series Ryu actually enjoys.
Yes, finally, Arknight. Let's go.
Nice.
Nice. Well, here's a funny thing though. I'm not sure you got because I'm not planning to upload this into tomorrow, but I actually reacted to all the trailers for Arknight. So
really?
I wanted to keep myself
yeah, I've been forced.
I've only seen.
I've been forced to do the content for that. You know how long I spent recording all those trailers? 2 hours and a half. Though all the trailers lead up to 2 hours and a half. Yes.
I didn't bother to watch it because I'm pretty sure I've watched
60% of it is music videos.
Men just watch
60% of all the trailers is music videos. That goes to show how much budget, how much budget, how much dedication, how much the love they care for the Arknight franchise. And seeing they pumped out trailers every week for Arknight game, even after the anime. Oh my god, the care, the love they give for this is good, and you can see how they translate that into the anime too. Like I gotta say, I didn't. I at first I was having doubts over Arknight anime because of how the previous game adaptation go for. I think it was the Gunfront Line. That because like after that I was like, yeah, any other gacha games I have no confidence in until I watched the first episode. I was like, okay, this is quality. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm invested now. I'm liking this world, this whole reunion war going on with that now. The powers, the infections. Okay, very, very, very expansive in terms of how they explain how individual, what they're fighting for, the philosophy, how it can be conflicted. Like the thing from the trailers, what I noticed is that after season 1, of course, season 2, from what I can see from the trailers, you're gonna be something similar. But then, like as the trailer progresses, it's starting to feel more like I can't even say this. I gotta get roasted by Arknight fans, but I don't know. Like as the trailer progresses throughout the year, it's slowly becoming more like a fate-like game now, a war amongst other infected user Arknight. Yeah. So yeah, that's why that's why I realized.
I actually like that sort of notion that it turns into something like that because
It's
there's a
becoming
lot
more
of
like
things
Fate
I would
now.
love. There's a lot of things I
Become
like.
like Fate now. So
There's a lot of things even though I'm not really into gacha game adaptations, like I wasn't fond of Fate Grand Order by any means. Sorry, but I was not. I was. This was actually something I really was looking forward to because some people in my server were talking about it. It was hyping up because it was like it's a very very interesting
and it
setting
does well with
and
channels too. Don't lie.
the
It does
notion
well
the
with channels
ideas
too.
themselves the ideas themselves were interesting enough, but how it was presented was, even though it wasn't seamless, like there were times it felt like it just kind of lagged, but well, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. Let's be real. I'm already seeing this sadly rather low score compared to the one I gave it, which was an 8 out of 10, which is kind of rare, which I rarely ever give nowadays. I mean, well, I can give it a little bit more often than 9s and 10s, but this one is just like it just clicked with me because like it has a great aesthetic. It has a sense of like approaching with the narrative. It doesn't feel like it's dumping a bunch of stuff at you. It's just kind of feeding you as it goes along. And yeah, it does miss along the way. It does feel like some stuff could be presented better, could have been presented a little bit more in a more visceral way.
I mean,
like
apparently, according to the game players, that they say the adaptation was perfect for a very weak chapter. Like the first,
yeah,
the season one,
that's
the season
what I
one,
heard.
they adapted only 3 chapters, and people say that these first 3 chapters is like one of
That's
the
what I
weakest.
heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. And I
So
can
they say they get
understand
phenomenal
people not being fond of it. But to just hear about that, I mean, and to still be impressed by what they did, make a great adaptation of an otherwise weak prologue segment says a lot, which really makes me look forward to season 2. And I can
trust me,
understand
I think people are gonna enjoy season 2 because from what I've been told, season 2 is gonna take things into another level in terms of like the drama, and not just drama. Like Amiya, you see what you see in Amiya in season 1. Well, in season 2, you start to see her start to change in terms of her mentality. So that's why people told me that, Malad, I know you don't really like Amiya, which I still don't, to be honest, but when season 2 comes by and then onwards, the story progresses, you start to realize Amiya is indeed gonna develop as a character a lot. So I say, okay, I'll take your word for it.
Really?
I saw the trailers. I can totally agree with them. So
I don't even need to see the trailers to know that she's gonna go through a lot. Like she's like when she first, like, even though we don't have like an actual backstory for her yet, just the way she's introduced, this person, this young girl, because of all the things that's going on in that world. There's literally disasters going on. There's an infection you don't know too much about. Like they know it can be. They kind of know how it can be infected, but they don't have any ways to counter that. They can only just treat you until you eventually succumb to it. Some people can handle it better than others, and some are just kind of like just at death's door, like almost immediately, and it's just a struggle. And no one's the sad thing is that the notion that because you can't just spoil that there's going to be a war, possibly a war going on, like a big one, it feels like it just makes me sad because none of them are actually inherently bad. None of them are inherently villains or like even I'm not even sure they're true heroes. They're just different ideals. Reunion is using this whole thing with their loud vocal stances to persuade people, while Rhode Island is just trying to use the nonviolent measures. But even Rhode Island may have to resort to violence, and the saddest part, because Amis wants to press those ideals, which Halilin called out as very amateur, very naive, very weak, and all, and that I can understand because this is a dog eat dog world now until something can happen. until
she was
they could do
immature,
something about it.
She
And
was really mature.
she tried to lend a hand, and she really wanted to help Misha. But the circumstance of how things went about, because everyone's having their own self-interest. It was really depressing to see. Just like, yeah, it's just it may feel sad. I've seen people say it's maybe mid sappy, like stuff just doesn't feel like it means anything. Like oh, it's just horrible, dramatic writing. But you gotta remember, like no one's a bad guy here. They're just all like fighting in this like this unwinnable.
You mean racism
judgment.
war?
Yeah, they're just like they just all in there. They're just everyone's for themselves sort of deal, and it got to the point where she out of defense because she had to protect the doctor because the doctor is someone important that is considered important to her because he or she's the one to solve all this. And I'm actually glad that the doctor doesn't get too much of a highlight, but doesn't get too sidelined either. Even though the doctor is technically the main character, because the doctor is the player perspective in the
POV
game.
in the game.
Yeah, that they utilize them quite well. They utilize them quite well. Not as much as they could. I mean, of course, there is shortcomings. Yostar Pictures is not a particularly big studio, but they do seem to have potential. I just hope they can get more for the next season. So, back to what I was saying. She was put in a position where where out of just like the emotional instinct or whatever you call it, like just out of the just out of like just on the, just like on the trigger, she basically just killed Misha's brother, who was the skull shatterer, and Musha was there to say it, to hear it, and to see the one that was promising, that was keeping his promise to help and that they don't hurt anyone, and to see that same person kill her only family member left.
Well, out of desperation, so yeah. I can't blame her for that.
That I do not blame her for being like, yeah, it's kind of selfish that she doesn't want to trust her anymore, but you gotta realize that that's her only family member left. They already went through a lot. She herself doesn't have much time left. Because you see like the infection was like already starting to creep up and like reaching a critical point, and so she was just gonna make this last stand, assuming the identity of Skull Shatterer in her deceased brother's place, and she just gets put down. And Chen says some really great lines here that, regardless of whatever comes, and Chen is actually kind of developing as well. Like she comes off a little stubborn, but she acknowledges that Anya's ideals, Anya's stances. But it's just like, you are the leader here. You are the leader here. You cannot back down. You cannot hesitate. And it's also kind of funny because when she says that, it's almost like she's talking to herself. Everyone, I wish that I hope second season can cover even more of these characters, because I feel like there's even more to them. Like you have to think I'm hoping like with the other characters they can cover that as well.
I feel like in season 2 they're just going to introduce another girl, which will make Amiya make more heart-breaking decisions to see how.
Yeah, but this is spoiler.
But trust me, I can see how the story goes now. Like every place they visit, they always bump to a new character, a new villain, and they had to find a way to resolve the situation together, even if Amiya had to make some tough decisions. But I can see where you're going with this in terms of saying Amiya had to be, because remember this, she's a leader of the Rose Island. Even though it doesn't really hit me even harder to find out that she's 14 years old and she has to lead an organization, and she has a lot of pressure. She has a lot of pressure on her. So because like I didn't really know much of her age, that's why I wasn't too much of a fan of how she dealt with some of the stuff in the last episode. But then when people told me about her age, I say, no, you know what? Makes sense though. She 14. She was inexperienced. I think she lost her parents, so she kind of like wasn't being brought up. She was being brought up in a more hostile environment. So I gotta say, I kind of feel sorry for Amiya in this case. So that's why I show her a bit more sympathy when it comes to season 2, because I'm pretty sure there will be more troublesome people for Amiya to deal with, and she have to like make some hard decisions again. And of course, she had to use her powers, which will lead to her lifespan being depleted. So I'm not looking forward to that. But again, I can see, but sometimes she just had to make some tough decisions. So I had to give her full credit for that, even though she knew that what she did was not right in one of those moments, especially with Skull's Shatter and of course with Misha too. But what can you do, man? If they're going against you, you might as well be more aggressive with it.
Yeah, it's just like there's no bad people, just people just fighting.
They're just fighting for themselves, fighting for their survival. And gain territory. It makes me feel a little bad that she's put under this pressure, and like the anime does it really well in terms of in terms of the directing too, especially how they frame their facial expressions, which are some of the best parts of this anime, honestly. Like, even if they don't say anything, the looks can just say it all. Like, just shock, fear. Like, there was actually okay, so from what I was told, the opening actually changed for the last episode slightly in that one bit. In the first 7 episodes, just before the chorus hits, Amiya is just looking straight with a determination because she's going to face Skull Shatter. But in the last episode, the opening changed a little bit, and I usually don't note this until someone brought it up. Her fate, like this time for episode 8, her eyes turned into something like a horrified look because of whom the Skull Shatter she's facing is, which is of course Misha. So yeah, that's a good attention to like that's something that's usually glossed over, and they just decided to do that, and I'm just like, wow, okay, this is something this is definitely a series they really care about. It makes me really like, even if this is not the best they could do, it really makes me look forward to what they can do for season 2. It needs a lot of luck to really get this as in the best ideal way, because I know game stories are not a very easy. I would even dare say they're harder to adapt than manga, in a way. Like I don't know about light novels. That's a whole different medium. But the game, just like, you got to consider, like, there's just more elements than just looking at pictures and all. It's like considering mechanics in a way, like how the world sort of just functions based on how the game is played, even if it's just like a place where you just click buttons and look at pictures, like it's a visual novel. And visual novels are technically games too, and so they're also really, really fucking hard to adapt. But so far, it's really surprising. I know we're probably not in the majority for this, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are just gonna blow this off as just a mediocre game adaptation, because they don't even know what a good game adaptation really is nowadays. They just consider every game adaptation trash for understandable reasons. But I feel like it's just like, you didn't give a chance to anything, right? I'm on that side that just really likes the series, and I'm just really looking forward to the next season whenever it will come up. Thankfully, we did get that announcement right after at the end of the last episode. Well, I can pretty much say nothing else because I can already saw some scenes from the trailer already. But this is
so you kind of just spoiled yourself.
Yeah.
I've been asked to do content for that. Okay, so I don't.
I specifically requested to be to not be spoiled, so no one bugged me about it. Like, only when a few people try to, I'm just like, can I just leave it at that? I want to be surprised. bias.
So here's
well, manga
my.
is stuff. Okay, sorry.
I'm about to ask: Will this anime convince you to play the game?
Not really.
Not for me.
I do.
But you can watch
spend,
the. But you
I
can
spend
watch.
too much money on.
You can
on
watch
Daylight
it as a
Game Ready.
newcomer. I just know memory doesn't seem to have a good stance on it. Although
I'm not too crazy about this one, to be honest.
To be honest, I stopped playing gacha games because like I guess I'd rather spend my money on promoting my TikTok videos. So yeah, that's why I say, you know what, gacha games is gacha games. I just watch the playthroughs on YouTube. I'm not gonna invest more money into trying to get some waifus, which I'm gonna stop playing afterwards.
Yeah, I regret ever that playing gacha games at one point. It hurt me. I will never ever do it again.
Understandable.
Reminds me of Odd Taxi episode with the guy who got addicted to gacha games.
Yeah.
Oh,
We know how that goes.
Don't go there. It's just horrific to think about right now. Let's just move on, please.
So
Yeah, I
on
didn't
to the
watch
best one,
Arknights.
Bleach.
Bleach.
Oh, Bleach. Yeah.
Another
Family
anime that
number
Ryu
one.
enjoys.
Yeah, I didn't watch
And
this
it's
one
like
either, so
a
I'm going to
10
back to-
easily because there's just a lot to.
It's
the
a
thing
9.
is, like,
It's a 9.
I don't have the same sense of nostalgic strength compared to many other people. But I've
Me either. I just
ever
caught up.
since-
I just caught up before this started.
But like
Good for
after
you.
I've watched the original, and I originally wasn't too fond of the original. But the original did have a good amount of issues. But I thought about it. I even talked about it with others.
And the issues are fillers.
My stances on Bleach have just kind of just gradually changed. Like I acknowledge that it does have all its issues, and I can't understand why people would think it's the inferior of the big three. But I'm just gonna say this: I enjoyed this the most out of the big three by far.
I mean, maybe I think because like Bleach around this sort of time now, they just focus on the most important arc now, face against the Quincy's. So because I'm not gonna lie, the only arcs that I enjoyed the most from Bleach is Aizen invasion arc of the Kurokawa town and Soul Society. Everything else just feels very dragged out for some reason. So, but mainly because I wasn't really a fan of those fillers. So, and apparently some like those fillers have some importance to some of the lores. But I say whatever, man. If I forget, I forget. So. But still, though, like because with the thing I like about Bleach this season specifically is the final 2 episodes where it really ties everything together now in terms of like the backstory with the mom, with the dad, and also makes sense. Also shows the fact that I think Zangetsu was indeed not the one, but it was actually the Hollow. So I was like, oh, okay, everything makes sense now. So why this happened, that happened. So this is why Bleach works because there's this for a shonen anime, like you need something like explanation to the backstory. Because the thing also I like about Naruto, other than the fucking fillers, is that in Shippuden they slowly starting to connect.
Don't get me started on Shippuden and what they fucking did at the end. Like that's just ridiculous what they did.
You mean the fillers or what?
No, not just the fillers. What they did to try to change things up for the final clash, and it was just fucking ridiculous. I don't even.
I have no issues with that. I'm talking about like before any of that shit. I'm just saying like along the way, everything just ties together in terms of the backstory to the meaning behind. How did they gain this power? Why Ichigo was absolute hollow mode, and even more so, like makes sense. Also makes sense why Ichigo was considered special. Like something about Ichigo that really makes him stand out to other Shinigamis. And in this final 2 episodes of Thousand Year Blood War Part 1 really ties everything together, and that's what really impresses me the most. But for the majority of Thousand Year Blood War, it's just typical, shonen Bleach stuff. You fight the Quincy's, although this time around you get to see the fact that Quincy's are a much bigger threat compared to the what's it called again? The Hollows, yeah. So I gotta say, man, I'm very impressed with Thousand Year Blood War, and of course the improvement in the animation. I mean, they kind of have to. 10 years waiting, they might as well studio period might as well put all the budget into it. So they did a good job with it, and the 6 months break is really worth it too. So they can continuously work on Bleach, and of course Boruto too. Boruto, but
We know it's going to be
Burrito?
4 core, but I didn't think it was going to be like that big of a gap. I thought it was going to be like a season gap, but I guess it's probably better
With
than
that
what
sort of
I thought.
aesthetic, they kind of need a bigger gap.
Yeah,
but
but I do agree. I was going to say I do agree about the last 2 episodes. It's kind of crazy though that we got those episodes now, like this far into the series. You know, like.
I know, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of like I was gonna say it's the typical Bleach thing, but it's more so just like a typical shonen thing. Like they always have to have something to where the MC can take that next step or that next like because now Ichigo has another obstacle in front of him, so obviously he has to get stronger somehow. The other characters have to get stronger somehow, so they introduce or bring up something else for him to be able. To
It's shonen.
yeah. So
It's shonen.
I don't know. I liked it. I think it's great.
I like it too.
His mom and his
Don't get me
dad.
wrong.
I'm just surprised it took like this long, especially for something.
It was
like this, but
it was probably more the intended. That was probably how the build-up was intended, though, because it
like if
just slowly
Kubo had
starts
that
tying
idea
together.
planted from like the beginning, that is
He
great.
did. Probably
That
did.
is that is awesome.
To be honest, though, to do series like this, you need to have a really long plan to how you're going to review everything and try to create a story along the way. So Taichi Kubo really did a good job, like saving it to this very moment to review, to have this big review. So,
Not like we gotta admit, like the part where like in the manga where it does get the very final stretch gets rushed. It was because like of a handy dandy of issues that I'm pretty sure it's not really of his fault. It's just how things are. Like when shit happens, it happens.
The editors, man.
The editors, the fans, his own health. Like, do you expect him to just keep up that sort of thing?
I heard Shonen Jump magazine aren't really treating the mangakas quite well too. So that's why you can see a lot of like series dropped out. So because it's a weekly thing. So yeah, health is a massive issue.
Yeah. Shonen Jump is dying because of that stupidity with the management of their mangakas. It's ridiculous. But going back to Bleach, so sorry about that. But I don't know. Like there's just something about Bleach that I like it more than almost every modern shonen nowadays. It's just because like it feels very grounded. It feels like it makes you care for the characters. It feels like there's some coherency to its ideas, its themes, especially the way where it's like, no, it's not just about getting physically stronger and all. It's also a mental thing too, because you see like how Ichigo usually has to really level up is not a physical training, just a physical training. Like it kind of is early on. But later on, it's more of a mental thing that he has to tackle. And even early on, it was something that he had to do because of how strange his existence is. He has for so long, he hasn't been able to truly figure out who he is, his roots and all. And when he finally does, that's when he can realize his true potential, his strength, so he can protect those people. Like he's not someone who aspires to be the best whatever in the world, like Naruto or Luffy or Deku or Asuna or the majority of the other shonen protagonists. He's someone who is just like, I just want to protect the ones I care about the most. I want to protect those dear to me. I just don't want to be aspired to it. Like there's one point where I was told that he could have been although it's actually, you know what? It's a spoiler, so I don't even want to go into it, but Ichigo was regarded as one of the most powerful characters in the series once he reached that peak. So yeah, that does says a lot. But it wasn't like he just trained and trained and trained. It was something mental, and this is also why he's struggled along the way, because no matter how supposedly strong you are, emotions can hinder you. Like if you're not there mentally, if you're so stressed mentally, you're not going to fight you're not going to fight at your fullest, which is why you see him struggle. And it's also not just him, the others as well. Kenpachi keeps mentally holding himself back, if y'all remember correctly. And that's why Unohana had to remove that mental limiter for him as well, in her own way. Because now, here's the thing, and I want to dispel this, because a lot of people I've seen, even a few reactors complain about us, that they say Unohana shouldn't die. I do not think we should have the excuse of logic here. There's more of like the status quo, the pride, the sense of guilt, responsibility that that characters have to undertake in order to give this great character moment, this great character piece, in order to be complete. And I thought that was beautiful for Unohana and Kenpachi. Even if people have an issue with like, oh, one of them shouldn't have died. No, it's not even about the down to the straight up 100% logistics about the situation. It's just like there's pride on that, right? It's like so like the way they just like even if some logic is not quite there, I feel like the poetic nature of some scenes or how for certain characters, I feel like those present themselves more strongly to where it can override the issues enough. Not all the time, but for the most part, it does. Especially with Yamamoto and with Yamamoto's case, when that guy went had a hell of a showcase. It's kind of sad how he died though.
To be honest, though, you just knew something is up with the fight with the fake your watch. Like the way that your watch acting during the fight was like, okay, something's not up. This is a bit too easy here. But you can say your watch outsmarted.
That was a tactical maneuver.
So
it was so
tactical.
Awesome,
that wasn't
but then at the end,
like,
it was so awesome.
It wasn't like the
at the end you're like,
case with Demons. It wasn't like the case with Demon Slayer with episode 9. It wasn't like the part with episode 9 with 20 of Demon Slayer where you had to bust his own logic to save himself, to be like, oh, I'm the one who saved myself by cutting my own head off. And like, no, that's an asshole. That one was more tactical. That's what I actually liked about it. I know a lot of people wouldn't like about it.
I don't get what you're talking about with Demon Slayer. Why you have to relate to Demon Slayer? Seriously. So
no, there's a reason. I have to bring it up because
sorry, real.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean? Sorry.
Really
sorry.
Don't bring up. Why you have to bring up that out of nowhere?
There was an I had to bring. Okay.
Oh my.
Sorry if I use an example, but it's just more like a lot of people were saying that was an ass pull to just switch it up and just like, oh, that's not the real Ewok. That was a fake one, and people were not.
He knows that you need to. Your watch knows specifically that. Oh yeah, I faced Yamamoto before. I know exactly what he's gonna do. So yeah, tactically he used one of his Sturm Ritters to process your watch and using like half of his power. Remember that was just half of his power, just to like go toe to toe Yamamoto, and in the end got beat. I can see why a lot of people are disappointed with that, because all that for nothing.
It felt like it was for nothing, but it was still.
The News Blood War is basically a lot of.
The watch is a smart guy. Quincy's are smart. Okay, they're not like dumb, so they know how to like learn from their mistakes and fight. So your watch, knowing the fact he's the king of Quincy's, there's no way he's going down that easily. So he had to come up with a plan to strike your watch for Yamamoto from the back. So yeah, I gotta say, man, that was just sad seeing how Yamamoto go out like that, man. Like, damn, I was hoping for more from him, but well, guess once the leader, the number one. Gote is down. That means I can already see a downfall. But seeing how the other surviving Goteis able to continuously train themselves in the last 2 episodes shows the fact they're not giving up. So I'm hoping they find a way to bounce back and regain their bankais. But also, like, what confuses me the most is that how are they able to take their bankais? Like, wow, aren't bankais are like like being made because to a deeper understanding with the soul unit, and only the specific person can use it, and they just took it. So I was like, what's going on there? So yeah,
I don't remember if it was explained or not.
It was not explained at all. I was confused. Like, how are they even able to take the bankais? Well, maybe Taichi Kubo just want to spice up the story. I mean, that's what he.
I think it's more. I think the bankai part is more of like it's still like a physical manifestation of their powers. So it's something tangible that I'm pretty sure that the Quincy's were able to steal in the end. But there's a condition, but it's the conditions and all. But no. That's how I'm thinking. That's not based on what me reading the manga. That's me, guessing that's how it is. And I might get an explanation a little later. But that's how I felt like is the reason why it would actually make sense without needing it just being spoken out. Whereas with Ichigo, because he's such an anomaly, because
he's a Quincy blooded, half blooded.
They couldn't steal his because it's supposed to steal Shinigami Bankai, but Ichigo's not a true Shinigami. He's kind of
not to mention his Shinigami is a hollow too. He's a hollow
Shinigami, hollow, full brain Quincy.
Yeah,
literally all 4 of those.
Unbelievable, isn't it? But anyhow, yeah, Bleach Part 1, a very solid return after 10 years.
And Ichigo's a dual blader now. He's not. Kirito, you got fucking competition now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I heard that that's not the final form of the sword too. Apparently, there's another form of the sword. Well, I've been told that. So
yeah, I know what it is, but I'm not gonna. I kind of remember what it is, but I'm not gonna spoil. But anyway, memories. You gonna say anything or?
I mean, I really I enjoyed what we had with this first core.
Is that our Aussie boy?
Here.
Oh, it's Oliver.
Oliver smiles.
Aussie boy, our second Aussie boy.
The second Aussie. I didn't know I was the second.
We were talking about Bleach.
Oh yeah, I was just saying. I really enjoyed the first core of Bleach. Some really standout episodes. Like we mentioned with Yamamoto, the last 2 episodes in particular. The stuff with Unohana and the old Gotei 13. I really appreciated that stuff. It was really good. I'm excited for the next core, especially with how it left off. The kind of the cliffhanger, that should be very interesting. But I don't know. You guys said kind of a lot of how I feel about it. I still even the Soul Society and Arankar stuff. Bleach has never really been a 10 out of 10 for me. But I feel like this is. I think I gave it an 8.5, 9 out of 10. I'm somewhere around there for me personally. That's kind of how I felt about it.
Cool.
Because there are still just some of the I feel like Bleach definitely handles it better than just most shonen you see nowadays, which probably isn't really a surprise. But I feel like there are still those
original big 3.
Yeah. I mean, there's still the things. There's still the shonen things there that
caveats
that come with it. Yeah, that just irk me sometimes, but it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, I feel the same there. And it's more of the enjoy because the directing, the way they just handle some of the content, where they streamline it enough, and to where they just kind of make sure the tone is there, not leave too much humor in.
Yeah,
just make sure,
I did hear about that.
I
did hear about that. They've been cutting content, and that's always a bad sign. But it's Bleach, so I'm hoping it's still good.
They actually added some anime content.
I've also heard that too. So it's a mixed bag. But you also have to remember that Bleach is from the early 2000s originally. So
yeah,
Or
That's why I say. That's why I
early
say
to
it
mid
has the
2000s.
caveats.
Yeah, early to mid 2000s, something like that. But yeah. And considering the fact that they're now finally like adapting the last arc after all these years, you have to take some liberties with it.
Yeah, that's for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
But I have
Okay.
high hopes in this one. All right.
Move on to some
Blue Lock.
football anime.
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh yes. Oh
no.
yes.
God.
Oh yes.
For the love
Oh
of
yes.
Oh
I have
boy.
not. I'm
yes.
not. Blue Lock as well. I'm not
Oh,
watching.
I'm
So
not
go
watching
knock
either.
yourselves out.
Oh yes. Oh, you all have been waiting for this. Oh my
Oh,
god.
Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
Mad Lad, are you okay? Are you having an orgasm there or something like that?
Oh my god. Jesus Christ, man.
Just
Like
calm down a little bit, all right?
Oh,
No,
memory,
I am-
memory, this is not gonna be our segment. Man.
oh my god. Trust no, I have nothing. I have problems with Blue Lock. Don't get me wrong, Oliver. I actually have a lot of issues
Like
regarding to some of the concept of the story. But again, though, it's a sports anime that is taken into a more entertainment route than our old shit. So
Oh, shut up.
yeah, I'm not gonna shut up.
Wait, what did you say? What did he?
Our
Oh, wait,
old
wait.
shit.
What did he say? I didn't hear that.
Our old shit. Okay.
Oh, I didn't like that either, but it's like
Shade.
whatever. At
Oh,
least it's-
so first things first. Okay, I understand the criticism. I'm not that deluded to say, "Oh, yeah, Blue Lock's a masterpiece." Dude, if I say that, then what happened to other sports anime? Then I'm not that deluded. So don't get me wrong. I actually didn't really like how the story, how this whole game they're playing by with the whole striker thing and developing a striker through this sort of like training sort of style facility. I see it as more of a training facility than a Squid Game like thing. So if you fail the training, you're out of here. But the thing that really intrigued me is not just because like, oh look, we get to see a sports anime where you get to see some super striker stuff, but well, you can say we also get to see some proper like development for our main boy Isagi, man. Like, remember this from first episode 1, he was just a typical, how to say, no name striker. He just passed the ball and stuff like that. But then, as the story progresses, we found out more about his ultimate ability to like able to read the game. But I actually like I asked myself this: so if he is able to read the game like that so well, why not just be a midfielder? Why is he so invested to be a fucking striker? Like some of the characters in this facility, they are more like some of them are more like midfielders than strikers. If I have to be honest with you guys, but yeah, again though, this is a striker show, and to be honest, I think I cannot see Blue Lock being that popular if the World Cup never happened, because the reason why
Probably
Blue Lock.
not.
I mean, so
Blue
it was probably
The
intended
blue
to.
lock
they were
is
doing it.
real.
Blue Lock is
I-
got
I
all
was
popular
It turned
Blue
Blue
Lock
Lock
got
into a real
popular
anime.
because
Real
Japan beat Spain and Germany using one of those stuff we saw from Blue Lock.
But did they win the whole thing? No.
No.
They did not win the whole thing because they did not learn to
Because
take penalties.
it's not
with
real.
Blue Lock, okay?
The blue
Real.
lock's not real.
Respect Japan progression, okay? What infuriates me is the most that all the hard work
No,
from
they
Germany. and
no.
Spain.
They had a good
Hey,
run.
hey, hey,
They had a
hey,
good
hey,
run.
hey,
They'll
hey,
get
hey,
better,
hey,
I'm pretty sure, but it's
Hey,
not Blue
hey, hey.
Lock. It's not
hey,
Blue
hey.
Lock, man.
They
Don't
did
even get
a
no.
fantastic
Don't even
job.
get me started, man.
Oh
like,
my
Blue Lock
like,
is
they
not
want to
real.
make
Dude,
Steph
Oh,
Curry.
hey,
What does
hey,
make
hey.
Steph
I've
Curry's insane shooting then? Is that a Blue Lock thing? Is that a crazy anime thing with Steph Curry in the NBA? What about
Japan
that?
did a miracle beating Germany. It's just sad. It's just unfortunate.
No,
They
no,
had
no,
to
no, we're not
go
talking
against
about that.
Croatia,
What
okay?
about talking about an equivalent? Like what about with Steph Curry when he kept shooting threes all over the place? Like is that anime thing? Is that supposed to be an anime thing?
Everything's
It's
anime.
a
like-
godly anime thing, okay? He's Midori,
Okay. Okay. So life is anime then. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
life is anime. Life is
After I got
anime
slice
now.
of life anime.
Appreciate this. Appreciate
Then you have
some of the
no
goals
argument
that
for the
Japan
next
scored.
series.
Some of the
then.
goals Japan scored, like literally, oh my god, that is literally what happened in Blue Lock. Oh my, okay, this is Japan's getting somewhere with this now. So keep them. I just say keep the momentum going. They're wearing the jersey designed by the mangaka itself. That shows even more love to the manga. So I just have to support this. I cannot just say. I just cannot say, oh, look, Blue Lock did nothing. They did. They inspire. Okay.
I think I'm gonna be honest. I also think Blue Lock did the thing actually, but yeah, not all the way.
Not all the way, sadly, because of penalty shootout. They
forgot penalties in those.
They forgot penalty shootout. Okay, they forgot to. Who's messaging me? They've been like just they didn't train to kick penalties, standing up, and Croatia just parked the bus most of the time. So it's kind of sad.
If we go back to the anime itself, I dropped it eventually because
I don't blame you.
I think the story overall had a plan, but it was the characters really that made me drop.
Annoyed you?
Yeah. There was one person who I think he said he had a monster inside of him, and I was like, no, this is it. I cannot watch this anymore. All I can see is
the ego issue, ego theme way too much.
What is it called? Pillar rooms, That's what I saw.
I can see why he's a monster inside. I can somehow see why the mangaka decided to go, because he believes that some of the ego people around the world are being influenced by some mysterious thing to make them play like what they are. So maybe he's trying to expand like around that. So
yeah, I know that's probably what he meant, but the way he said it though, he talks to me.
Dude, trust me, the way he said it is cringe. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of cringe, but I can understand where the direction of that concept of the mindset is coming from. And so I can say for myself that the mindset of these strikers, where we saw in Blue Lock, has more relation to how egotistical some of the strikers are nowadays. So I can support that, but I'm not going to support the fact how I'm not going to support like how crazy they're going to go about to go and use all the plays football in that way, but still they did have some tactics along the way and some proper planning. So, and of course match fixing too is a thing. We get to see match fixing in the anime. So
oh really?
What I find interesting about Blue Lock, because I was talking to my friend about this, who follows football or soccer like real closely, and
football,
soccer,
and
football.
he follows it real closely, and he was telling me the reason why Japan lost in not the World Cup we just had, but the previous World Cup, was because of their defense. It wasn't even because they needed strikers.
Wasn't it against Belgium 4 years ago?
They choked. They choked, man.
Yeah, apparently it was because of their defense.
I think they lost at the very end against Belgium in the World Cup before that. There was like a counterattack from Belgium.
That's what my friend was saying. He was like, I don't understand Blue Lock because they should if anything focus on their defense. But who would want to make an anime about defense?
Here's the thing, like I'm trying to consider this logically and also from a non-logical standpoint, and Blue Lock it's watchable, yeah, but how it's handling its ideas, I just can't take that shit even seriously, or even say remotely, it's in the way I think it would bring value to the story. And the characters suck. I'm sorry, they all suck. Like,
and why are you watching it?
There's somewhat they have some decent moment. They have some decent moments, but it's just like on a whim. So it's like I don't even fucking care. And like,
why were you watching it?
The animation isn't even that.
Yeah. Why are you watching it?
Why am I watching it? Because I like suffering.
I get
the enigma of Ryu's mind.
Why are you not dropping it? Why are you not dropping it then?
Because he likes anything.
I don't want to hear this from you, man, lad, because I've already said like a gazillion times why, and you decided to ask that. So I'm not even gonna.
Oh my god! Of course you're gonna stick to your philosophy of competing in anime, god, or whatever. So
I've dropped a few stuff from this year though, if that helps you know, but they're not really well known.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if I'm gonna be realistic too, I didn't just drop it for the show. I don't usually watch a lot of sports anime, so that was also a factor. Even though I love soccer on my football on my free time.
He's
Sorry,
Canadian.
you see another
Sports
sport.
animes are not really my cup of tea. So that was also a
IQ
reason.
was the last.
I have not
good
completed
sports anime.
Haikyuu actually. That's also one that I cannot get into actually. I know I'm gonna be very
That's
criticized for that,
understandable.
but
Yeah, that's fair. I can understand why. I just feel like, I don't know, for me, I prefer just, if I'm gonna watch sports anime, I prefer more grounded shit. Like,
Yeah.
Awashi.
yeah,
Awashi.
like that one, which I did
And
definitely
Kaiko.
like. I did definitely like more than Blue Lock. I mean, I dropped Blue Lock, so there you go. But I mean, even like I'm kind of nervous to ever start Kuroko because of that, because I've heard like Kuroko
Oh,
has
you
some
don't like
pretty-
Blue Lock? Don't bother
Oh,
with
it's
Kurosu.
you mean
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Dragon
like
Ball.
basketball is my favorite sport, and I'm just like, man, I'd rather just try and go like the slam dunk route. Or
You can just
something
watch
like that.
Slam
Like,
Dunk movie
yeah,
then.
that's
It's
what I'm
coming out
saying.
next
Like,
year. Just
yeah,
watch
like,
Slam Dunk movie then.
that's gonna be like when I do decide to watch like a basketball like sports anime, it's gonna be slam dunk probably before anything, or I'm gonna read
Or that other one which we hated. What's it called? again?
Ahiro no Sora.
Ahiro. Ahiro
Yeah.
Sora.
Yeah,
That was bad.
Drop
though,
that one.
but
yeah.
That was bad. But anyhow, let's just move on from Blue Lock since
Yeah.
you guys are not really liking it.
Let's move on
To the
to
anime of the season.
Bocchi the Rock.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Another one I didn't watch.
I
There's
didn't
gonna be a
watch
few
either.
that I'm gonna be skipping.
Wait, what? Wait, Oliver, how many are you watching from this season?
Well, you've already spoken about one because I missed it. But let's see. One.
I'm the villainous one.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going by the list that Brew has made. 5, 6, 6.
It's not a bad number.
Fair enough.
So
I know a bunch of people on my server that watch even less. Yeah, per season.
I think I just completed.
Yeah, this
8
is high
shows.
by
I
all
dropped
of our
a lot.
standards.
But Bocchi the Rock for me was a 10 out of 10. It's my anime of the season, and I like
Year?
know
How about year?
the direction. No, we'll see about that. But I have to think about that. But it's definitely up there. But great animation, great direction, and all the references that they put in too. From Dragon Ball. We also saw the Yamcha reference. That was awesome.
The Yamcha, yeah.
And
There's
we
a
also
lot.
saw-
There's a few Dragon Ball
Yeah,
references.
but also
Ashton and Joe one was funny too.
I think some of you missed it, but there was also a house moving castle reference. When they were going up the stairs and Bocchi were crawling up together with the old lady. That reminds me of
Wait, what
house moving
reference?
castle. House moving castle.
Oh, that's one of my favorite Ghibli
Oh,
movies.
oh,
I
that-
when they go up the
that
stairs
movie,
and
that
the
movie,
witch she loses her powers when you go upstairs. That reminded me a lot about that, because while she was crawling up, there was actually an old lady beside her that was going up at the same time.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice
Yeah.
that actually.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
great
cool.
show. This was one I really, really enjoyed. I think this anime is gonna stick to me for a very long time. Really enjoy this one.
It's like I'll let memory.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I feel the same way. I feel like I'm not as high on it as a lot of others, but I really did still enjoy this show a lot. Like I love just how the characters bounce off of each other, like their chemistry. Anepode mentioned like the animation, like the direction. Like you can tell they are passionate as hell about this adaptation. Like they poured a lot into it. You could tell, for sure.
Really hit a gem.
Yeah,
You
the
know, a
music
lot of people
bits-
missed on this.
Yeah, the music bits. I mean, as it should be, you would expect because it's about a band, right? Like, music is a big aspect. So you would expect the music to be good, and the music was good.
Yeah.
The music did not disappoint.
And the fact also, there was one episode, I don't know if you remember, when they were doing their first concert and they were not syncing with the music. The fact that they actually made that in the anime was awesome.
Yeah,
He's
and you
helped
see
with
them
that.
overcome these. I mean, obviously that's a big, just theme, I guess, in the series. Just whether it's with the band or with the characters themselves, especially the main character, is obviously overcoming like obstacles, and that is like where one of my actual like kind of complaints comes in. It might be a little, I guess, kind of like a nitpick, but it really came with the MC's like how she's like
the repetitive humor of that.
Yeah, I feel like that got old for me sometimes. Is like what they kept doing. It almost felt like every single episode, like she would either like run away or she would disappear, or just it kind of like I feel like at some moments it did hit and I got a kick out of it, but then some I didn't. Like, for example, in the like when they were in the last episode, I think it was when they're in like the guitar store and she had like that like expression on her face like the whole time she was in there. Like, that was funny to me. Like those kinds of things. I feel like it was really hit or miss, but there were some points where I'm just like, oh, there she goes. She disappeared again, or they can't find her again, or whatever the case. Yeah. So it's nothing like major, but it is something that I did get a little like, it irked me a little bit. I will be honest. I mean, I could have way worse complaints, but I don't really have any.
I understand that.
Yeah.
At the same time, we did see a lot of development on her.
Oh yeah, there definitely was.
So
there was
if there were no development, I think it would be a lot more boring to just see her being socially awkward every episode. Mm-hmm. But the fact that we actually saw her grow each episode,
yeah, there was
makes
progress.
Us
there was
kind of forget that it's kind of repetitive humor.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like there was progress for sure.
Yeah, the thing is that the manga itself is pretty plain. And so it goes to show how much they elevated it. Like the usual stuff I see, like there's the depths of the backgrounds, like some of the extensions on certain scenes. The layouts are some of the best fucking things ever.
Yes.
And like the way they just also change up with the animation, like I'm pretty sure it was already mentioned. And I know about the chemistry is great. Like all the characters, they even all develop some way. The last episode where Kita carried and like she knew because everyone knew like Bocchi special. She knows that Bocchi is special to them, and she knows she cannot make a highlight like Bocchi is. So she can do what she can to support. And when Bocchi was having trouble with the instrument, like while Bocchi was fixing, she was trying to improvise. I'm like, oh shit, let's go! Like that was the hype moment. Like that was legit a hype moment. It was just, it's funny, and this is just like a school festival performance. So it really just goes to show how much these characters gel. They gel for me more than I see in nearly every other Kyuko anime I've came across, and it's crazy because like considering what the source material is, and how they and going back to what Anepode just kind of said about how it can be repetitive. The thing is with Bocchi, big change isn't easy. He's good, like she will raise the hurdle, but the humor is there to where we have to remember she can't completely go the 180. Yeah, she's still the Bocchi. It's kind of like also with Mushoku Tensei. Rudy is still the Rudy even if he's moving along in a way. It not quite comparable, but kind of like
reminiscent.
I should get the point. Yeah.
Like can you understand? The comedy can be subjective, so I can understand where the humor doesn't hit, but at least they could try to make up for it with how the visual creativity. Like there's just that one part where just she's okay. So Bocchi was just so elated about the whole thing where they're going to be able to perform at the school, and then it just starts to regress to where she's basically a low quality CG polygon, and she's just being hurled through blocks. I'm just like, what the hell?
I think I saw some criticism on Twitter about it's bad animation.
That's crazy. That's not bad animation. That's just changing up. Like what? There's people complaining about the breast size. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what was that? Like, what was that? What was that complaint about? oh, you say it's a bad adaptation because she was not as endowed as she was supposed to be in the manga. The manga is its own fucking thing, and the anime just elevated to be its not only elevate that, be its own thing, and much more. Like, why would you complain about that?
This adaptation just feels like a total like passion.
It feels
project
totally
to
different.
me.
Yeah, that's why I want season 2. I know it's hard, but it's just like they sure love it, and they've expressed they would love to do it again if they can, even though they probably have other projects they handle too, because that's how the business cycle is.
I'm okay with that, as long as they don't do a Promise Neverland on this one.
No, promise me, they're at least gonna try not to have another Neverland situation again.
I remember Promised Neverland. I actually went to the manga directly after, and afterwards I was like, should I really have done that, or should I have been patient for season 2? And I was glad I went to the manga.
Oh yeah, you made the right decision.
You definitely made the right
did.
decision there.
You did.
Promise Neverland never got a season 2. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, we got the.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be the best arc 2 afterwards, but they didn't animate that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the thing, man.
But yeah,
I think that's about
energy.
it. I would love to say more.
I love the energy from Bocchi. It's you know, the whole like cute girls doing cute things series. I do like some, don't get me wrong, but it's usually not up my alley.
It's for me it's easy to watch, but nowadays it's like it's not really a high bar as a lot of people think I would have for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it clicks, it clicks. The only other series that really clicked on almost the same level was Girls Last Tour, but that's pretty unique in its own way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate when people compare it to K-On! Because it's a band, it's a music band, and they have music and all. First of all, the music is the music in Bocchi is way fucking better. Don't get me started on that.
Damn.
And there's actually development. There's an actual different goal. It has a different goal. Like what K-On! Was doing was more like just not really progressed, but it's just kind of like just some character interactions and everything. It's not the K-On!'s intent, from what I remember. It's not trying to move forward. It's not inherently trying to move forward or anything. It was just kind of like focusing on the mundane, whereas Bocchi was something else. It was like a major character introspection for me, if anything, you know. And there's the whole thing. Bocchi, she like be for real. Like there were some times where I'm like, Bocchi gets into these weird situations.
That thing with the like quitting your job was like so relatable. That was like so great to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I have literally been there before. It's like you hype yourself up. You're like, yes, I'm gonna like go to my manager. Tell him
was literally trying to be
I'm
Super
gonna quit
Saiyan,
this
and
job.
then
Yeah, I'm gonna quit this job. I'm gonna tell him I'm done. That this is it. And then you just like curl up and you're like, nah, you know, I'll continue working my hardest. Have a good day.
I felt more for her when she had that sales job, you know, where she was imagining going to door and trying to sell stuff. You know, that's gonna be so hard for her.
Or the part where
so much relatable things, like
but
like it is exaggerated, because it is fiction in the end.
Yeah,
you know, you gotta get a little bit of exaggeration there to sell it enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's quite good. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I mean, because it's still a cute girl sort of anime. And yeah, and I know it's getting more popular now, which I'm really glad for. For better or worse, like there's a lot of discord about it, but it can also be like considered a detriment to how successful it is, considering how no one really thought it was going to blow up.
That. Like I'm not surprised people are liking the show, but I am surprised at like how like it's in the high like 80s or low 90s on Annie list, I think, and then on my anime list I think it's in the high 80s or low 90s too, or like high like 8.8 or 8.9.
I think it's like
or it might be a
9 straight. It might be a 9 right now.
Yeah. Like I was not expecting it to be
I
that
have to take a look at that actually. Let's see.
Yeah,
hold on.
I mean, I'm not surprised people like the show at all, because it's great. But to that extent, now granted, there's probably not as many people watching compared to these other big hitters.
It's over 9 now actually.
Yeah, like that is actually insane to me.
Wow.
0.01.
0.1. Oh,
I'm surprised about that, I will say. But also, you got to take into account.
I think it's deserved. I personally think it's deserved.
I agree. Also, you got to take into account that like, there's probably not as many people. Maybe more people jumping on it now, but there's not as many people.
And I feel like you also got to consider many people may jump on it and just intentionally not want to like it. There are those people. I'm sorry, unfortunately, but for the most part, I find it likable, and although.
I mean, it makes sense because this is both good animation, direction, everything, but it's also a very, very relatable anime to your normal life.
And so sometimes the relatability, like sometimes how the characters are, I can understand the extent to where people may not like that.
Yeah, I've actually seen people drop it because it's too relatable. So,
wow, that's
you know what? If that's the reason why, and you just don't want to watch those sort of animes, you know what? Do your thing, man. I don't blame you, but don't come at me then don't come back and say, oh, I love this anime because it's relatable. Then you're just
hypocritical.
Yeah. Don't get
but really enjoyed this show, so I don't think I have anything else to say about this.
Mad Lad, didn't you watch the show?
Say a lot more, but it's just
we can, but
I just want to. Yeah, we got shit to cover, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mad Lad, didn't you watch the show?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Do you want this to be toxic?
Everyone should be able
we don't have time. We don't have time for toxicity right now.
Dude, let's hear it, man. We talked about Blue Lock and
let him talk.
Well, we just kind of let him do it because we at least want to get something, because I didn't have much to say about Blue Lock. So I'm not gonna say. So I'm not gonna.
If you guys think I hate Bocchi the Rock, you guys are so mistaken. So
I didn't say you hate it. I didn't say you hated it.
A lot of people say.
A lot of people say,
"Oh, you're a big Bocchi hater." God, I want to punch them.
No,
so badly.
people just take that.
People like to complain for no reason.
Okay, first things first. I can say whatever I want. Okay, on Twitter.
That's true.
And two, I did not give Bocchi the Rock anything lower than 5. Okay, I give it a 7 or 6 or whatever, but that's still a good score. So I gotta say, I can respect all your opinions regarding Bocchi the Rock in terms of like relatable, good story, good team bonding, good music. The whole music part, I can understand why it's good, because it has good. Because the thing about K-On! And Bang Dreams is that all those musics are composed already for them to play. The seiyus literally had to do the songs themselves for the songs. So they literally had to start from scratch for those songs. They had to do it themselves. So it's more indie band sort of focus to it. So that's why I can see why people say they much prefer this, because it's more authentic and more how to say raw in terms of how they play the music. So I give them that. I gotta say, the girls are cute, and Cloverworks did a fantastic job with the adaptation. I can agree with that. But the thing I cannot enjoy from this anime is the main girl herself, Bocchi. Can't stand her at all. Like, I mean, the first 3 episodes, I just find her hilarious. I just find her funny. Then it just got annoying. So that's why I say nope, not working for me. I'm still gonna finish it because I'm still gonna watch all the way to the end just to see how wholesome and good the music is. I mean, the music they play in the cultural festival is quite good, actually, not bad. I actually gonna find the full song for it. I need to listen to it again just to see how good is it. But the saving grace for me has to be Kita, man. Everything else you guys said is okay. I'll give you guys for it. But the only person I can find fun to get behind, I can even buy a poster just for her, is Kita, man. She is, oh my god, Ikumi did a fantastic role voicing her, and of course she can sing too. Like, oh my god, Ikumi can actually sing. Like, so I gotta say, man, Bocchi the Rock. If you don't want me to say any more negative stuff, that's all I can say.
So your issue just mostly lies with Bocchi. That's really it.
Bocchi and how people are just overrating it. So that's it.
That's anime in general, though. Like, every anime, people are gonna say it's overrated. Why are you watching this? Like, I pretty much heard that argument once.
Okay, that lad.
For every anime this season, I've heard an argument for that. Chainsaw Man, freaking even
geez,
Immortal
Man,
Guild. It's just like
about that
what?
one.
Everyone is just like up in arms about everything these days. So just
I don't really like to use the word overrated anymore. I try not to. That's why I had an issue with that when you brought up overrated. Like I can actually get the notion with not liking Bocchi. No, I was talking to Man.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Like, I'll get more into this once we reach Chainsaw Man. So anyway,
What's next?
I'm just gonna disclose it, and like I just don't want to end this on a sour note. This is like I can understand where not liking Bocchi ruined the enjoyment because she is like the main, you know, one of the main aspects, the recurrent aspects, like the one that's just more prominent. But I mean, some can appreciate her relevance, some can't because they can't stand her personality, which is a subjective thing, which is fine. The issue that I have is when you say it's because it's overrated. It's overrated. That should not be taken into account at all. That's what I'm saying. That's where I have the issues with. Because when you said I do not understand why people rate this highly, I had an issue with that. Because I never liked using. I've done that before in the past, and I really regretted that. And it's just like I had an issue when you brought that up. So that's why I just wanted to put it at that. Like if you didn't like it and you just like it's because of this, then that like you didn't like a particular character, you didn't like a particular theme. That's fine. It's a subjective preference in the end, as long as you brought up as to why. Like you just didn't like how it was presented. Just the overrated thing. Just the saying it was overrated thing. I just wasn't gonna let that go. But that's about it. So
yeah,
I just want to drop it at that.
Let's let the discussion be there. Yeah.
So Boku no Hero is next.
Safe for now.
My
Safe
Hero
for now.
Academia season 6. Are you guys still watching this?
I dropped this. No, I dropped this at season.
Now
4,
I can talk. Oh my
My
god.
sleep academia. Oh gosh.
Oh my god. Finally I can talk again. Well, let's just say where do I
My
begin
sleep
with?
academia. Yeah, let's talk.
There we go. You get to say your thing again. Can I say for Bocchi the Rock? Sure. Okay, why not? Okay, let's just
No,
say.
I've never said the
Shut up, Rock. Shut up. Sheesh.
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academy season 6.
Yeah.
I gotta say, season 5. I wish I can forget about it. I can just I just really want to just forget about season 5 because season 6 is the real season 5. Like, oh my god, like, dude. Going to the first episode, I'm not gonna lie, I have really, really low expectations with season 6 after the atrocious season 5 with how they progress the story, and you know that whole villain arc thing was quite crap, to be honest. They really stepped up for season 6, and from what I've been told, that this is just the beginning for what to come. So
yeah,
well, seeing how seeing Deku and the heroes literally not just failed, but some of them even died. Like, okay, things are getting real now. And seeing Deku actually struggle to win and trying to get out safely and trying to save people. Okay, oh my god, like I actually felt scared every episode after episode like 3 now, because like I just knew something bad gonna happen to the heroes. And not just saying that I got spoiled or anything, but I'm just saying the fact that seeing firsthand that My Hero Academy is no longer those goody two-shoes hero save the day thing. It's more like survival of the fittest now, because now we got Shiragi being such a dangerous walking nuclear decomposing monster. It's just like, oh my god. Now that fight scene with Shiragi, man, seeing like the emotions, Shiragi, the emotions, and just seeing Dabi review himself, playing some mind games with his father. That voice acting, by the way, by Dabi was class, man, by Hero. And seeing Dabi just taking the scene like that just really riles up the villains and just shows the fact that this series now is taking a more serious turn now. I know from what I've been told from manga readers that from this point onwards it gets good, but then things got shit again in terms of playing it safe. But still, I'm just going with the ride. I'm just seeing the fact that Deku is actually struggling, and not just the fact he's actually getting some trauma from what he experienced with Shigaraki right now. And even though the fact that he really trying to improve as a hero in terms of like finding ways to control his other quirks in him, I don't see him winning. I still can't see him win in any fight. He's just not there yet, and he just still keep on hitting a roadblock in terms of like how he can save stop Shigaraki. So I gotta say, Deku, seeing him struggle this season is just painful, and seeing Bakugo actually cares for his team too. Oh my god! Now that is worth of development that you should take note of. So I gotta say, even though as much as I don't like My Hero Academia, especially what happened with season 5, I had to give full credit for season 6. Like they really stepped up this time, and I wish I can forget about season 5 for sure, man. So I mean, to be honest though, I can say more about season 6 in terms of like actions and stuff like that, but those are like quite repetitive, so I'm not gonna say much about it. But it's just that they really stepped up with the Bone Studio really stepped up, since they know they fucked up with the movie original. So yeah.
Like, look what happens when they're not working on a movie. I mean, I
yeah.
feel like that. Yeah, like they're not working on a movie right now, as far as we know. Like, or they
I
could
hope
be.
not.
Like, they could be like in planning stages, but nothing's been announced. So
if they make another movie, I'll just say, Bone Studio, you guys are crap, man. So
they'll keep making movies, bro. They'll keep making them. Yeah, I feel like they will at least, but who knows? But for me personally, this is my favorite season of My Hero since season 3.
What happened in season 4 again? I forgot. What happened to
season 4 was like the stuff.
There was
I think that's
gentle criminal, Aerie.
Oh yeah, that one.
Overhaul, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Season 3 was awesome. Wasn't that when
I gotta say, all my stuff was
about
peak, man. That was a very good scene.
Yeah, season 3 probably still to this day is my favorite season of MHA.
Me too.
This by far, I've been enjoying this season, which I have read the content that they're covering in this season, but I was really disappointed by the previous season, like Mad Lad said, with how they handled some of the content. Like it could have been
season 5 denies it.
Yeah, and but this season they've done a way better job of handling the content. I feel like with like Mirko's introduction, the twice in Hawk stuff with Toga.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
They did a really good job with that. I was actually really, that was one moment in particular I was like, if anything, like you could literally drop the ball with everything else, like just please get this right, and they did. So I was like, thank God.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
So that was a very awesome scene. I love how they handled that. And then Mad Lad also brought up like the stuff with Dabi. I feel like they've been handling that really well. And
actually, I watched the voice actors react to that scene. Hiro and Hikachi reacting to the scene where Dabi gave the big speech and stuff like that. Hiro said that he actually I think he said he knew that scene was coming. He'd been rehearsing that scene by himself, and he's been having some throat problems along the way because he never like scream. He never like speak this high pitch this much. Well, other than Zenitsu, but he said this is one of his hardest work as Dabi yet.
And he killed it.
He killed it, man. Hiro, he really to be honest, when I see Hiro, I see him like just voicing those typical protagonist that doesn't really show much, but voicing a Dabi, oh my god, he impresses me, man. Like we've been seeing Dabi like very soft spoken most of the season, but like when that specific scene itself is just like seeing how Hiro just like speak with a more like villainous tone. Oh my god, I can tell he's really talented again. So
yeah,
I gotta say full credit for Hiro, man.
So yeah, the way they've been like handling the content with this season in particular, I've really been impressed by. Just like the things I mentioned, but also like Gigantomachia, like that stuff. And I don't know, like I'm just glad that, I guess it makes sense probably because like they're not working on a movie right now, and I feel like the seasons that we've been having before this, they've been working on a movie the whole time. So I feel like there are more resources probably actually being put back into the TV anime, which I think is a good thing. So, is it the greatest thing ever? No, it's not. But it's better than it's been. This is the best MHA has been since season 3, in my opinion. So, I'll take that anytime, because like I'm actually enjoying My Hero again, somewhat, I would say, because the past season or so really has been kind of a drag for me. So
since I dropped it at season 4 too, hearing everything about season 5 makes you just feel like, is it worth going through to get to season 6?
No.
I mean, at that point,
you can skim like if you want. You can just like skim,
or just read it at that point. I don't know.
But I mean, nothing more I can say about season 6, because the second half of the season starts next week. Next week. And from what I've been told, this is just the real beginning. The real shit happens next arc. So, oh man, I can't wait for it, man. Really can't wait for it. More, just the second half of season 6, and potentially a season 7, which can happen anyway. So,
it's like this is gonna be an ongoing show.
Oh yeah,
for a long time.
They're in it for the long haul. For sure.
Studio Bones moneymaker, pretty much.
Yeah, they'll keep doing the movies too, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. Do y'all have anything else to say?
No, I can just save it there for the next podcast. So
all right.
So let's move on to Chainsaw Man, an anime I can actually talk about, and my AOTS.
Sure glad I didn't need to say anything in the previous one.
Take turns to talk on this one, maybe, because everyone.
I just want to be clear. I just want to quickly clear. Because I just got back from family Christmas stuff yesterday, so I was too exhausted yesterday to freaking react to anything. So I have not seen the final episode of Chainsaw Man just yet.
Oh.
But I've got it's the same with Spy Family. Like, I'm literally a week behind, essentially, is what I'm saying.
I think we should try to avoid spoilers then while we review.
For the last episode, if we could possibly avoid spoilers for this, the last episode, I apologize, but I will get onto it after this. So
that's fine.
Okay, all right.
And our overall thoughts, Can I start on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think I gave this one an 8 out of 10 eventually after thinking about it. I know Ryu said before, let's not use the word overrated, and I'm not going to do that. But kind of overhyped, maybe. It wasn't bad. If we compared Chainsaw Man to many of the other shows this season, I fairly enjoyed Chainsaw Man. I think it was still very stable throughout the whole season. Although we got some ups and downs, I think. But overall, I think it deserved an 8 out of 10. And without spoiling the finale, I was quite pleased with how it went, how it ended.
I think the reason why it's got overhyped because of the manga readers just keep
pretty much.
And stop
pretty
talking
much.
about
I think we can all agree with that.
That's just inevitable though with a series like this massive.
They were
talking
before the anime even started.
Has the most reader, has so many fan base from the manga just coming in after the stage show like a year ago. Just like when the first trailer dropped, like literally the manga reader just comes alive again. Like the Twitter just comes alive with Chainsaw Man. I was like, wow, where are you guys been hiding this whole time? So
the fear also is that because when you react or review something this hyped, if you give the slightest criticism, you might be scared that they're gonna.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna cancel your ass.
Yeah,
God forbid you have criticism.
God forbid you have a different opinion.
That's why I don't want to say too much.
And then you have the far right of that, where you see some freaking morons go, "No, we're going to create a pension because it's not as good as we thought it was going to be, and we want to replace the director." Like, fuck off.
Yeah,
that was just
2,000 signatures.
I saw that when I heard about that. I was like.
Mappa Studio did a fantastic job with it. I don't get why they
the
hate
animation
it so much.
is amazing.
Oh, yeah,
the animation throughout the entire show has been amazing.
Did they cut out a whole chapter? I don't think so. I think it's very well paced out. And I think they even added some extra scenes to it too, from what I've been told. So I don't see why they want to redo it again.
I don't know. I think it's just people nitpicking at least from what I've seen. Like a lot of people are nitpicking like at the smallest shit.
Small as shit. Why
yeah,
can they do
but
this?
like the thing that I've been seeing the one thing I will say that I think is important that maybe they didn't really hit on as well as at least as I thought they like would have is the stuff with like Makima's like facial expressions, because like that is actually a big deal. Like it may not seem like a big deal, like oh people's bitch like they're bitching about her facial expressions, but when it comes to her character in specific, it's actually pretty important to the story and future like events. So
I didn't even realize she had other facial expressions. She just
yeah,
has a regular
like I
smile.
saw the comparisons like between the manga and the anime. Like, well, I have read the manga, but I didn't remember the specific like expression that the person was talking about. So I'm just like looking at these comparisons. I'm just like, oh, that is kind of a little concerning, but. That's that's the only thing. I feel like the other things I've been seeing have really been like nitpicks. Like
to be honest, though, I was a bit when they announced the cast for the voice for the the characters. Makima was being voiced by a seiyuu or voice actor that mainly does cute anime girls voices. So I was a bit worried about that. I have no issues with Mappa Studio doing facial expression because from what I can see, the Makima was just being Makima throughout the season. Very, very scary, very ominous. So they did that quite right. It's just that how they would execute the voice. So Tomori,
I thought her VA did a good job.
Oh yeah, she was fantastic.
To be honest, I was one of those critics saying that they did not choose the wrong voice actor for Makima, but then I said, you know what, let's just give Tomori a chance. So
yeah, give her a chance.
Because like
thought the voice cast kicked it out of the bag of the season. Honestly,
a CV is mostly like cute girls' voice. Well, there were some characters that she has some deep tone voice to it, but she did a quite good job with Makima.
This goes to show, like, don't judge a voice actor just on like some roles that they've done. Like sometimes it's quite clear that maybe this voice actor, she's done with playing the cutesy voice characters and wants to do something serious.
Just look at Bocchi the Rock's main voice cast. They're not really that much of a. They don't really have that much of a resume, but look how they did. And so the complaints with Makima's voice actor is just weird to me. Like I wasn't sure how to feel about it at first, but it was just like, okay, it really fits. It really fits her.
I can understand some people's like concern. Like obviously, like a lot of these voice, these VAs, they're very talented, so they can like have these like fluctuations in their voice and all that. But like still, people
I
can
think
like look.
Because I didn't see enough from the trailer. That's why I was a bit concerned. But
I can understand people's concerns though. Like if you're looking at someone's like the roles that they've traditionally done in the past, and you see one that's like you see some that are just like, oh, Makima's a different character than most of these. I could understand why some people would be like super hesitant. Now, there's probably people that take it too far and be like, oh, this person shouldn't be cast. Like, what the fuck is this? Like,
I never go that far. I know.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying there's probably people that did say that, right?
Yeah.
Which I think there's just a line there's a line you shouldn't cross when you're just, there's nothing wrong with like being like necessarily concerned, but. Yeah.
Also, the fact that she actually has made this voice now, showing that she can use many variations of voices, probably going to gain her a lot more popularity and hopefully a lot more, works, in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like I think Oliver said, the VAs, just the VAs all around, I feel like did a really good job. For sure.
Luckily for me, though, my knowledge for VAs are really bad. Actually, I just watch the anime, so I just see.
Actually, here's a funny thing about Tomori, though, the voice actor of Makima. Like, I actually watched her interview for the role as Makima. Like, what I saw from one of her interview regarding to when she did the rehearsal for Makima is that she knew the importance of Makima because she actually read the manga. I mean, she binged the whole manga in 2 nights. Actually, that's what she said. And she said she knew the importance of Makima. She actually has an idea how Makima should be sound like. So she practiced because she actually knew that Chainsaw Man will eventually get an anime. And when the rehearsal came up, she actually practiced and tried to like destroy her throat just to get to that perfect voice for Makima.
That just shows how much she deserves this job too.
Dedication paid off. I to be honest though, that was like after I found out about the interview, like after like after like episode 2 that interview came out. So I was like, okay, maybe I was wrong, like doubting her. So hey, it's like in sports, you doubt a player and they perform the next day. So it's like that.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I totally understand where you're coming from. So, but now she did an amazing job afterwards.
And of course, the biggest game changer for Chainsaw Man, like the thing that really this changed everything, was of course, one second, let's get the name of the episode up. Gunfire, episode 8. So that's when things really heated up.
Yeah,
like I was not expecting that at all as an anime only. Like not even in my comment section, nobody was telling me about it. And then boom, that happened. I was just like, holy fuck. Like I was not expecting that at all, and I love it. Sad, it was tragic, but I loved it.
Okay, cool.
So
anything else?
Yeah, so for me, Chainsaw Man, I rated this as my AOTS. In fact, in my top 10 anime of 2022 video that I put out earlier today, I put this as my second favorite anime of the year, actually. Honestly, I just really consistently enjoy Chainsaw Man. Like, I understand the hype. I understand why this is one of the most popular manga series out there. It's got, Mappa did a fantastic job. It gave this series like amazing action, amazing animation, beautiful visuals. A lot of the scenery is just gorgeous.
And a good development for the characters.
Exactly, yeah, great development. Multitude of likable characters. I mean, you got Makima, you got Himeno, you got Denji, who I think.
Oh my god! I remember the hate train for Kobeni, man. Kobeni hate train was.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous. To be honest, I wasn't too fond of Kobeni at first either. Like, I didn't hate her, but like I didn't hate her.
I just find her hilarious.
Yeah, she was like, she's kind of there. But then like now, like as the series progresses, and then we see her like, her abilities, like the fact she's going like John Wick with a kitchen knife and a pistol. Like I was like, okay.
I just don't get
that was great.
Like I'm not too crazy about Kobeni's character. Like even from like reading the manga, like I never have been really like, yeah, she gets better, but I never still was like, there's other characters I prefer. Like I prefer Denji, I prefer Aki. There's other characters like that I like more. But the thing that I was like, people's like reasoning like for like people are trying to say like, oh, give her a pass or whatever. They're like saying like, oh, like this is how an actual real person would be in that situation. I'm like, this is an anime. Like
no,
I don't.
That's a little,
like I don't care about that. I mean, I guess some people like could find it funny. I don't know. I personally don't really, but I don't know. I've never really been crazy about her character in general. Honestly, like I could see why maybe some people would like it because of that, but.
But to be honest, though, like Komini is just there just to play a good supporting role for the team. But the main best girl for me has to be Power. Oh my god, Power is just
that.
I agree.
the best, man. Power is just
something good. Yeah.
Something about Power is that she really hits well for me. Like, in terms of not just her very wild personality, but the way she cares for the cat, the way that she, just fight for Denji and of course Aki too. In some ways, it just shows that she's really cooperating. She's really showing that she actually starting to develop as more not just a fiend, but more like someone that can fight for a cause. So, oh my god, Power is just the best, man. And of course, I Farozo too. The fact that she actually does the Power dance from the ending, it just shows how much she loves her role as a coward. So, and she even have horns on her head too. So, oh my god. So I gotta say, Power it really sells well for me, and she's literally my best girl for this season. I'm not gonna lie.
I think Power was the best girl of Chainsaw Man 2. I had Himeno up there too until a certain kiss scene, and she dropped on my ranking.
Hey man,
that was one scene.
Oh my god,
that was one scene when I was reading. I was like, I cannot wait to see this animated.
Yeah, I saw your meme there with the incredible.
Hey man, to be fair,
that scene made me sick. I honestly felt ill watching that scene. Like I felt like I was going to throw up.
Oliver, I almost
No,
puked
I was
watching that.
Nah,
No,
nah,
Oliver,
I was disappointed it got censored. I'm just all.
the fact that Denji swallowed it.
I think
He swallowed it. It's
That
just
was
I honestly
the
think
worst
it's going to be. I think the BD. Come on, I think the Blu-ray is definitely going to uncensor that
Uncensor, yeah.
scene.
To be,
It's going
although
to be
to be
uncensored
fair,
in the
yeah,
BD.
I mean, I
You
understand.
could just go see the panel in the manga if you want. You could just
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I said that in my reaction. Imagine the animators who has to sit down and animate this and just keep
Yeah.
watching it.
Hey man,
I mean,
it's not
kinda.
that bad. I mean, it's a small.
bad.
I mean, everybody pukes. I mean, people are treating it like it's the worst.
Someone got to do
People are
it.
treating it like it's the
Maybe
worst
the-
thing in the world.
maybe-
I mean, he
yeah,
metal's
maybe-
not perfect.
Maybe they're too busy to think about it. They have to animate, so they don't think about this
True.
in front of there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, going back
anything
to
else?
Chainsaw Man, I mean, for me, every episode, like, I can kind of see why people think it's overhyped and all that. But honestly, for me, it's like every episode, I just find something to enjoy about it, whether it be the beautiful visuals or likable characters. And if nothing else, I could just find a reason to simp for Himeno and Makima. So there's that as well.
And of course, apparently we're gonna get another best.
Though
girl.
before we
So-
move on, I was going to quickly say I am a little concerned that, like, I was expecting. All right, the final episode is going to air, and they're going to announce like a part 2 or season 2. There's been nothing, so I am a little concerned.
But
about
we know
that.
it's going to happen eventually.
Because I heard that they were going to adapt
wait.
everything.
I'm not gonna say specifics, but you'll see what they leave off the last episode with. That's all I'm
Exactly.
gonna say. And there is kind of
like
like
I said,
a
I'm going to watch
tease.
it after this
Yeah,
anyway.
like they leave the door open. Like you can tell they plan to do more for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or go read the manga.
Yeah.
But yeah, also I
Or
want to
that.
say before we move on, to my anime onlys out there, be careful when you're going to the comment section of Chainsaw Man clips and fan art, because I actually recently got spoiled on Twitter, like a huge spoiler when I was like looking at a piece of like Makima fan art, like a post on Makima fan art.
Oh,
And I
yikes.
went to the comment section. I was like, oh no, that's blatant. Are you trying to hide
Why?
it?
Why?
careful, be
Just don't like any Chainsaw Man related news, because Twitter algorithm will send you some.
Oh yeah,
spoilers
I
that
even
happen.
muted a few accounts because they just like
Yeah. Just
Yeah, but-
just avoid like hashtag Chainsaw
Look,
Man.
I'm just going to be. I've gotten used to the fact that I'm just going to be on spoilers on everything because I'm just like time difference sort of thing. So by the time I wake up, everyone's going like Chainsaw Man, it's all this and this and that, and I'm like, well, so much for all that.
Well, shit.
yeah.
For me, it's just like, well, I might as well stay off Twitter for the fucking whole month because like there's no. Like I won't, because I'm just going to get spoiled on everything. So yeah,
Yeah,
I've
be
just
like
given
that.
up on it. I'm just going like, you know what? I'm going to be spoiled. Whatever. I'm just going to pretend I'm not. I haven't seen anything. So same with the last episode. I know I've seen scenes from the last episode already.
There is actually.
I'm just going to be like, whatever.
There is actually like 2 other things I wanted to note about Chainsaw Man that I was really impressed with, and it was like, which I mean, before the anime even started, when they announced that like Kensuke Ushio was going to be doing the music, I was like, okay, the music is going to be great. And I mean, that's all around, like the tracks they use throughout the series, but then also,
Oh yeah,
like,
but
the OP, the ending themes, like the fact that there's 12
the
different
multiple ending themes.
like that is
Yeah.
like crazy. And the way that like they actually animated each one too, it's not like it was just some like still images and they're playing a different song every time. Like they actually like the production value for these ending themes is like
each has their
insane.
own style to it.
Yeah, like I love that about it. It was very diverse. But then also one of my worries going into Chainsaw Man was how they were going to handle like the CGI, right? And I feel like they did a really good job.
Yeah.
They kind of like blended
I
it,
agree.
essentially.
To be honest,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
blended, so you can't
didn't
even
notice
tell if
that we were
it's
talking
CGI.
about
or
it.
not.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice if people say, "Oh, that's CGI." I was like, really? That doesn't even look like. proper CGI. I mean, I can see
haven't
some of
seen
the.
Pixar.
I can see some of the
Actually-
chainsaw part in CGI, but I was like, that's just minor.
Yeah,
Come
I
on,
do.
man. There's
It's
no
not.
way. There's no way they can animate that hand drawn, of course. So.
Yeah, they didn't blend it.
Some of it is more.
Yeah.
Some of it is more blatant. Like obviously you can tell.
Yeah, they didn't blend.
Parts
It's not blended
like,
as well as like Ufotable or something like that. But it's like it's incorporated better than say like most other CGI anime. I mean, Mappa did a great job with the CG at least.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like they handled it really well because that was one of my concerns because of just how Denji fights and even how some of the other characters fight and like
I think they knew what they were getting by when they took on the project from Chainsaw Man. So they did us proud. They really did us proud. Now let's just see if they can continue to do this for other animes.
Ryu, do you have anything to say about Chainsaw Man or?
It's whatever.
All right.
Nice looking.
I'll take it as a no.
Okay. All right.
I wasn't digging it. Denji's entertaining. I just wasn't really into this. To be fair, though, this is adapting the weaker segment of the story.
Oh yeah,
so.
it gets a lot better. I feel like.
The thing is, I don't. It's enjoyable. It's enjoyable to me. It's enjoyable to me, but I just never really bought into the hype. I just never did.
Have you read the manga?
I've heard that these 12 episodes are just like the prequel essentially. Like this ain't
really shit. No, this ain't really shit. This ain't really shit.
Yeah, this is apparently just the prequel. So like we haven't even got into the main meat.
You haven't got into the real. You haven't got into the real meat yet.
I'm not really into Chainsaw Man nowadays. Like my thoughts of it has just been really more up and down. It's been more down nowadays. Because even though you say like the production looks great, I felt like it could have been even more if it was in more a better handle in terms of management. Because there's a whole thing with what's happening behind the scenes, and like I know most studios can have a lot of messy things behind it, but Mappa seems to be quite highlighted, and I'm not saying some other studios may have this similar, but Mappa really has it. Really has it going, in a bad way, and it's not looking good because it does seem like it is the worst case for them because they're just handling more projects now. They have Vinland Saga now. They have Hell's Paradise. They have like Jujutsu Kaisen now. They also got a Isekai anime now, and it's just like. Then you think, and then like after Chainsaw Man, they gotta do this. And Chainsaw Man, I'm just gonna say this right now. The anime, yes, the production effort is there. I wasn't always a fan of how some scenes were directed. I can understand the effort behind them and what they went for, but it just doesn't click with me at times. Like episode 8, which y'all probably did praise, I personally didn't like. Now, I'm gonna try to clarify myself as much as possible, because the way they did with the camera directing in the second half, something about it felt off. I just took it out of it, and that was terrible for me because it took away the most impactful scene in my opinion, which was Himeno's death. And so
she's not dead.
Instead of just like oh shit moment, I'm just like oh. She's gone.
Same for me. I did barely even reacted to it.
So it's just like that's the intent, but it just doesn't click. It's not a positive for me, and so I'm just to put it as lightly as possible. I'm really just not really into the Chainsaw Man. I'm sorry. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't like it as much as most people. I can't say I heavily disliked it as most other modern shonen nowadays. But I just can't ride into the hype. But I will still look forward to season 2 to see if something. It's interesting enough to it's still enjoyable enough to an extent to where I could still want to follow it, and just hope season 2 can be more of an improvement. Because of course there is going to be the better story material coming up. I'm just not so sure if Mappa's is gonna be in a good state when they have to be up for that. There's a lot of things going on over there in that studio, and most of them are not in a good way. Just saying. So that's all I need to say.
Okay. Are we ready to move on to the next anime? Do It Yourself. you guys are.
I need a quick.
It
Another
would
one I'm
be
not watching, so
awesome.
go ahead.
You know,
Yeah.
I know Mad Lad doesn't like, so he dropped. So I'm just gonna say this right now. I know this isn't anyone's cup of tea. I know, but I liked it. I liked it.
I'll be.
I
Right
like the
back.
ideas behind it. I like the ideas behind it. I don't think it always was engaging as I hope it would. It wasn't as visually creative as I wish it'd be, but it still had a nice little spark to where I feel like I can give it a positive overall impression. And so and like it's a really nice it's if anything it's a really nice seasonal, like, because the whole idea of just doing your trying to innovate with your do things via your own strength, like whatever resources you can get, and they have this sort of sci-fi sort of saying. The characters are pretty nice. They're nothing special, but they're likable. The humor's kind of nice. The cheeky humor's kind of nice too, and but it's nothing particularly. It's not something I really go deep down to analyze things, but I just feel like it just a really good time. The chemistry between the characters is really nice. I'm not so sure how to feel about just the overall story wise. It's kind of like, okay, that's just kind of it. But it was really enjoyable. It's just there isn't, when I look at it in hindsight, besides some of the more in-depth stuff that I'm not really sure I can emphasize on as much, it really isn't something I can rave about as much as I'd like to at the beginning of the series, sadly. So yeah, unless I mean, Anepode probably got something to say about it, but
Yeah, because I guess you said what you wanted to say here, Ryu. Yeah. Overall, I liked it. I think it had a good start. It's very unique too. What I liked about it is, they are in this future, right, with robots and etc. But they still do have this do-it-yourself club in those future times, which I think is pretty nice.
Oh yeah. I forgot to bring that up. The fact that in a setting where you can, everything is automated, there's still this the pressed idea of trying to do it yourself. Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
I almost forgot about that. I'm bad.
Yeah. So overall, I really liked it. I liked the humor. I liked Serfu. She was awesome.
Oh yeah.
But one thing that I might criticize a bit, and I think this is quite normal for cute girls do cute things anime shows, that they can get.
To be fair, it was up. To be fair, Bocchi was there in the same pace, so
yeah. But Bocchi had something else with this.
Yeah.
For me, who is not doing any do-it-yourself stuff and building, and for many of the episodes, it was kind of repeating to know, okay, how you're building these stuff, so that I couldn't really get into. But I still like the moments, when they are in the club. So overall, I really enjoyed this show. And I think the finale was really nice too, how they ended it with zooming into the painting in the treehouse. That was a nice.
I actually also liked how Purim was able to mend that, that distant that diverge that she had with Seraph, because, they used to be close, but, as time passed, they kind of just, drifted away from each other, and then Dream just kind of just drawn back in, and they were able to mend it again. I wish it could be a little bit more substantial, but I thought it was done pretty well.
Yeah, the only thing I'm questioning is, how did they get distant? Because even though they were supposed to get distant, it still felt like they were talking to each other each day and trying to get close, at least from Seraph's point of view. So that part I felt like, okay, they're supposed to be distant, but they don't seem so distant. So I don't know what actually happened there.
Yeah, I did wish they can elaborate on that more. I mean, it didn't completely ruin it in the end, but
yeah,
it's still it's still overall positive for me. And again, I understand why it maybe my expectation may be a little too high for it, but it's still a good time. It's just that with some of the other shows during the season, it just kind of went under the radar. It was
on Wednesdays. Wednesday had a lot of shows, so
Oh yeah.
They was very loaded, so I can understand if people skipped on this. But I completed it. I fairly enjoyed it.
right
One
back.
good thing about these cute girl stuff, is that they are, what is it called? Healing.
Yeah.
When you have a
Yeah, in a way,
stressful day, you just sit down. That's why I really enjoyed. I remember many
Eurocamp?
years.
Yeah.
I haven't completed Eurocamp yet. I will do it
Yeah.
someday. It's kind of a pause right now. But one that I really enjoyed that was very healing for me was Non Biori, especially the last season, because I remember watching it on Sundays right after Attack on Titan. We had this wild Attack on Titan episode.
Solid series.
Then we go to
Perfect series to have right after that one.
Yeah, I remember that too. I was watching that as well.
I think Non Biori is really one of my absolute favorites / live shows ever.
Yeah.
Now I will one day catch up to Eurocamp. We will see when that will be. I'm kind of like I don't have the energy to binge watch a lot of stuff anymore, but I should be able to get.
I feel like it has to be like for certain shows. I feel like especially for Eurocamp, like if you're not watching it like weekly, it's like a kind of like. It has to be at the like right place, right time kind of thing when you're watching it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's nothing against the show itself.
Yeah.
Just more like what its intent is and when is the better time to be able to experience it.
Right, but I agree with you guys on Do It Yourself. I finished this one as well. It was one I was looking out for because of like Pine Jam was on it. It was an original from them too, and I have liked. I wouldn't say like some of their like shows as a whole, but I think it's like some of the animators that they have there at Pine Jam that like I've been keeping my eye on their like sole like individual efforts essentially that they've had on whether it's their shows or other shows. But I think most of it, we're still talking about Do It Yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I think most of it, a lot of it is like in house, which I think is actually pretty cool. But I was keeping my eye on it because of that, because it was original from them, and I was not disappointed. I would say actually it exceeded my expectations. I do also agree with you guys. I feel like it started off like really well. I think it did decline a little bit, but not necessarily to the point where obviously I didn't drop it or anything like that. But I was a lot higher on it. I feel like towards the beginning, it kind of like settled down and kind of just remained like this consistent, just solid show I was watching weekly. But I did like, I wouldn't say I like this one as much as Bocchi or anything like that. I wouldn't say I like the cast and how they all bounce off of each other more, but I did still like the cast for sure. And I like the setting. I like the futuristic setting, but then they're still doing more so like this traditional kind of stuff.
I just remember saying something. We talked about repeated humor before, but one thing that actually was kind of funny was Porky.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that.
That poor little thing.
Yeah.
It was fun though when I think they had beef.
It just reminded me of that one time with what I think it was Buta from Clannad. There was that one scene where Buta ate its own. Where Buta ate. There's a little. I think it was basically a baby boar, a little baby wild boar, and it went over. It ate one of the. It was going over like it wasn't the thing. It ate someone's bento. It was a piece of bacon. It ate it, and then it just fainted because it just realized it was cannibalism.
Yeah, it was the same. I don't know if anyone if you have seen the anime called Gymnastic Samurai or Taishu Samurai sometime. It's a few years ago.
Oh, I did. I didn't like it, but it had some style to it.
They had a bird, and it accidentally ate some KFC, I think. So it was a bird, and they had to.
Oh yeah.
Veterinarian afterwards.
Oh man, just cannibalism. Just like that piggy didn't get it. It wasn't being able to catch. Well, it did catch a brick every now and then, but
when they had beef, for example, his ear just went, and he kept sleeping.
Yeah, and that's the That's the point about it. And that was a recurring gag that I really liked, and also the recurring gag with how Seifer just keeps, hurting herself.
Yeah.
And then like it actually developed on it where she actually managed to go an episode without hurting herself. I was like, oh, this character development, yay! That's actually really impressive. They actually noted that.
Actually, the one thing I thought about is that maybe the reason she's hurting herself so much is because everyone tells her, you're so clumsy, so it kind of sticks to her brain. That's why she's hurting herself.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. I mean, when people keep telling you, you keep thinking about it, and you keep doing that. So
we should probably hurry up things.
Yeah.
Maddox is saying it too, so maybe we should keep going.
We got a long list though. I'm not so sure if I want to stick around a little too long. So
yeah, let's do it from like this from here. That we kind of do quicker reviews on the next ones to get the list.
Well, the next one's To Your Eternity season 2, which is season 1.
We don't talk about that.
I have one word for that. What a waste of a season. What?
Right, let's move. All right,
I think everyone hyped the shit out of season 1, and then season 2 comes in. First of all, I hated season 1. I hate season 2 even more. Because I'm like, where the fuck is this plot going?
Dropped it after so long.
Where the fuck is this plot going?
I finally dropped the anime out.
I dropped it too.
After the arc finished with that king. What is his purpose in the story? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. What's the point of introducing him when he's just gonna die out? Every character Fushi gonna meet now, they're gonna die. Seriously.
This is not how you do it.
God.
Again,
dude, but now he can potentially reincarnate people, man. He can bring them back.
He's got a new power.
So it was
now all of a sudden that emotion.
So it was all for nothing. So it's all for nothing. That's great. What do you mean, man? That is great.
Eternity is dog shit.
More like To Your Eternal Suffering.
I will say I enjoyed To Your Eternity up until like after the Goo arc was where this series just fell like
the whole zombie.
It just face planted.
Tonari, worst girl.
High five, man.
After the Goo arc, it has just been a constant decline.
Exactly.
It was more like it declined for me after the first episode. The first episode should have felt like more of a standout by itself of season 1. After that, I'm just like, nope, not feeling it. And then season 2, I'm just wrapping around my head like, what the fuck are these plotting here?
Money,
I'm glad I skipped it.
I feel like this was just made. At this point, I just feel like this was just made just to fill in the TV broadcast slot. I'm legitimately like when I have to describe it like that, that's an issue, and that's an issue that's a thing that every like not just anime, just not like we gotta find some things to put. We gotta find something to put in so we can have ads on here.
Let's just stop there now. Let's just stop there. We know shit.
Let's end it there.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that one.
All right, next
one is
Immoral Guild.
Can we not talk about this one?
It's okay.
It's just tentacle hentai.
No, it's not. No, it's actually not.
Yeah, I'm not watching this one.
I should know. I mean, wait, what? What? Anyway,
the fan stuff.
I will say this. Read the manga. The manga is actually better.
Really? For Immoral Guild?
At least the manga is more. The manga is more
etchy.
Worthwhile watching. That I don't know what okay, first of all, the anime's art is terrible.
I will admit the animation is pretty bad. But all I'm going to say is just read the manga. If you want to actually understand this show more, read the manga.
Memory, aren't you watching the show?
No. Yeah, I completed it. Yeah, it's that garbage that is like still fun, you know?
You mean like Peter Grill?
Oh, yeah.
God.
No, that's just garbage.
Nothing like that.
Fun. That's just garbage.
This,
You know
this
what's
is better than
garbage?
Peter Grill. This is better than
Yeah.
Peter Grill.
Yeah,
Memory.
this would definitely be better than.
You know what's garbage?
We
The next
will
anime.
get to Peter Grill later
The
on.
next anime on the list. is the
Oh,
next-
I think Anepode likes this show actually.
Oh no! Yeah, I forgot. You like this show
What
more
show?
than American
More,
Couple.
more than Mary
Oh,
Couple.
right.
Fufu Ijou?
Yeah, I thought you meant, I thought
It's
you meant
time
Peter
for you
Grill.
to
I'm not
stand your
watching
More
Peter Grill.
ground.
Here's the thing: is it called a modern nisekoi? That is an insult.
Actually, I said it before to you. I don't blame you guys for not liking it as much as I do because it had its very cringe
Okay,
moments. I agree on that.
sell us. Yeah, sell us why you like it. Tell us. Go ahead.
I mean, I guess
Let's
this
hear
is
it.
just my type of anime. Sometimes it just clicks to us, and I really enjoy to see these guys' development with it's hard to describe.
Just let
It's
them.
how different they are, in personalities and how they still kind of click together. I love that. I really enjoy that concept in romance, and this is what I got from this, and that's basically why I really enjoyed it.
All right.
But I understand why you guys don't like it as much as I do. I get it. I'm not criticizing it, but for me personally, it clicked.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong.
I think
Yeah.
the issue that I can try to wrap my head around is that it's just that the cringe moments or the moments that just make you realize how this is not this is drama, this romance, the rom-com, the tropes and all just hams up way too much for many of us. To where it's too much for us to really acknowledge where it does have the good developing points. That's why most of us don't like it here.
I
Like,
think
I
this
can
would be
understand
like.
people
Get
that.
it.
I'm gonna be honest. I found some bits of this series quite enjoyable. I will say. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest thing ever. I think there's definitely worse rom-coms. Definitely we've had lately. Rent a Girlfriend.
Shikamori.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Shikamori.
yeah, the
Shikamori. Yeah, Shikamori
You know,
too.
Shikamori was trash.
This one for me would be so much better. I feel like if there wasn't the damn love triangle, dude. If there was not the love triangle.
Oh yeah, that's true though.
Like-
That's true.
I love triangle.
Like I'm just thinking about if they
Elements are-
actually honed in and they said screw the love triangle and they just focused
those
on
two.
yeah,
Yeah.
those two
Those
like
two.
because of how different they are, right? And they
Yeah,
focus
that's
on
exactly
that.
what made me want to watch it because how
Like,
different they are, but they're still
yeah.
connecting with each other.
But then like they throw in this stuff with the Shiori girl and there's just like always that nagging thing and I'm just like they always have to incorporate
The thing
her.
is, like, the
I wouldn't be opposed if they did something with Shiori and like someone else or some shit.
yeah,
But
I
like
get it.
when you throw her into the
I mean-
mix with the other two,
So
it
it's
just,
hard to like start a raw love.
The problem with Shiori is that she doesn't have good chemistry. She doesn't have a good dynamic with any of those two. That's the problem. The
they're
problem
just
with the love
shallow
triangle. The problem with this love triangle thing is where it's so mishandled because they don't have good. Because the characters involved in that love triangle or the polygon do not have good dynamics. It just feels so superficially pulled together. That's where it's so hard. That's why it's so easy to screw up when
I
you're
mean,
trying to get some coherent,
Fury, though,
dynamic
just-
with it. Love triangles are really tough to handle in any piece of fiction, and I there's only a few shows that can do that pretty well, and Fufu Ijou isn't one of them.
To be honest though, like the love triangle aspect, like see, I get it, they're childhood friends, but I mean just introducing that fact they're childhood friends just erase the whole enjoyment of Fufu Ijou because I would love to see Akari and whatever that boy's name again, just start from scratch, raw love from this so-called love test or something to test out their relationship for the future. I would love to see those two like really grow. I mean, you can see that they're growing in terms of development wise, but then you have the other love interests.
yeah.
I would say no, sorry, that does not work.
Yeah,
at
without the
man.
all
Yeah,
like the
it's-
I get
makes
it.
sense because they can't
Yeah.
just forget about someone they used to have
I
feelings for.
need probe. Sorry if I mispronounced your name.
Pro.
Probe. Let's just say Akari. I really enjoyed her. I find her very amusing most of the times, and especially with all those unnecessary ecchi scenes. But what we can say, I can say Akari. I can see the fact that she's starting to show signs of love for our main boy. But then she's like, then in the latest 2 episodes, like, oh, so you still have feelings for him after all? Oh well, what's the point of this test anyways? So I have no issues with the character. The characters, it's just how the story goes. It's just like, no, this is just so weird, and the amount of fan service did not really help, to be honest. So
I do agree. It was
the fan service was
few
too
cringe
excessive.
moments. I do agree with that.
There's nothing wrong with fan service in these types of series, but I feel like it's forced. It's forced.
It's forced. Yeah, it's very excessively forced. So
yeah,
Like,
when it is, it's like they throw it like in your face. You know, it's just kind of like too much. But like,
so
I don't know. I feel like this had potential. This had potential to be like something a lot better. But
I'm gonna be honest right now. Well, I actually read the manga and I kind of enjoyed it at first, but when it started just meddling around with the love triangle parts and then just adds this shitty drama to it, I'm just like, nope. I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
But the anime seems to be colorful, a little too color. I do not like. I actually do not like how the color palettes of it. I just don't. It just feels like way too. It just pops into your face too much. It just feels like it just doesn't fit. It just feels like too much. Like, how do you say this? Just like
too colorful.
Yeah, just way too colorful. Just makes it like it just makes it a little. You can't take much of this seriously. It's just kind of like just not something I feel like I can get immersed in at all. Especially like even given the intended nature, or maybe direction it had. Again, like it had good ideas. It had good, maybe a few themes here and good themes here and there, but it's not executing them very well. And I don't know if I'm gonna look forward to season 2. I hope season 2 doesn't happen. Honestly,
it will happen. I can see it happening. I can see it happening.
Hey, I would watch it, honestly. I personally would watch it if there's another season. But...
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's still kind of enjoyable.
As long as they don't drag on, like, which I feel like they will, because it's like typical rom-com shit. Like, they're gonna drag on the love triangle shit for so long. But
the only time where I've seen a love triangle be like the ones I can name off are White Album 2 and Origo. Those are the only ones that really handle.
Now that I can agree with you. White Album 2. I can agree with that one.
I actually really enjoyed it. I just wish more people knew about it, but I know like not many people.
The visual novel is a lot better.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I've heard that too.
Because they actually have the much proper sex scene. But yeah, play the visual novel. But other than that, though, anything else about Fuufu Ijou?
No,
I think that's about it.
Golden Kamuy
Golden Kamuy season 4.
This one isn't even finished, right?
Delayed.
Oh, it isn't?
Someone passed away, I think.
It's sad that the main artist died.
One of the staff passed away, so they delayed like the last.
The main artist.
Oh shit.
The main artist for the animation. So yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that. Let's just save it into the spring season.
All right, then let's move on to Eminence and Shadow then.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
I gotta turn on my game for this.
Again.
Y'all just go ahead.
Is he in Shadow yet? Do you think he's in Shadow? I don't know if he's in Shadow yet. Is he in Shadow?
He is the Shadow.
He is the Shadow. He is Batman. Okay.
No, he is. No, he is the Shadow. He's not. He isn't in the Shadow yet. He is the Shadow. That's what it is.
Dude,
I'm just making fun of the fact that he always says it in every fucking episode.
I am Shadow. Dude, he's trying to play the cool character, okay? The cool side character.
No. He's trying to play the background character, and it's failing miserably.
Background character, whatever.
That's the whole point. I know it's the whole point, but it is that I love the show. Like, I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's great comedy, it's great action. I'm just so over that joke. They've played it to death, and like, I know it's meant to be part of his character, but it's not working.
It's not working anymore. I can totally.
It's not working anymore. It's not working anymore for me.
I do have to agree with Oliver here. Like, I think it. This is where I feel like I don't want to put input too much because it's just kind of whatever for me. But after the I Am Atomic part, this
It
show
just
just
dropped.
kind of fell off for me.
And then I have to
lot.
admit, like, it occurred to me today as well, like, how many anime like this do we need where it's revealed that the fucking antagonists are the fucking church? How many anime do we need to go through to be like it's actually at the point now, like when if they run into like the main characters run into like some sort of cult or church organization, it's like it's the villains. It's always the church. If there's a church, it's always them. They're
Like a
always
church
the
or a
villains. Like
cult?
Okay,
Yeah.
quick question. Does Mushoku Tensei have any church people as villains? Not that I recall. At least
There's not
anime
many.
wise.
You watched it,
Maybe
so
Sorry.
you tell us.
No, I know, but it's just like, do you think any of that was there? I mean,
Well-
assuming Mushoku Tensei does have those sort of villains, which I
Well,
pretty sure
let's
they don't.
see. Hellsing has a church villain. Eminence in Shadow has a church villain.
Rising of the Shield Hero.
Rising of the Shield Hero,
Yeah.
church,
Overlord.
Overlord. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, can we please stop? Can we?
Why
just-
Here's the thing.
why
Something
is
about
Jesus
church
the
that
enemy
Japan don't
here?
like, okay?
They hated
Something
him
about
because
church that Japan don't like. They say they might as well villainize the church people in Isekai.
because they become villains in life. Like in reality, they're now the villains essentially. So that's the only complaints I have with Eminence in Shadow. Like besides that, I love it. I really am loving it. I like Sid. He's a great MC. The fact that he just doesn't give a shit is just amazing.
My man.
It does.
My man,
carry
my
the
man,
series.
Yeah.
my man. He
Like he
is
does,
my-
like, and the fact like his harem are like they think he has this like massive plan and all like it's all to do like they're all following Sid's orders sort of thing, and like he's just like yeah whatever.
Dude, Oliver, here's the thing about this Eminence in Shadow, the harem girls. We all assume that they all like she's gonna say, "Oh yeah, I acknowledge your love and stuff like that." No, he just say, "Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna do my thing." Dude,
Yeah.
Rose literally hug his arm, trying to hold on his arm. He's trying to get away from it, and
Yeah,
he did not.
I remember
He
that.
even said the fact that she's trying to grab me to her religion. I'm not gonna fall for it. Oh my god, that scene hits. Like I feel bad for Rose, man, but Sid is just like.
What about
he-
the
he
spa
doesn't care.
scene? The spa scene when he walks
Oh
in
my-
and she,
His Excalibur.
That was
Oliver.
funny.
that was
No.
hilarious.
Poor Alex.
don't give a shit.
Poor Alexia.
Here's the thing, though. I like this. What makes me like Alexa a lot more now because she literally doesn't cover herself like one of those generic, girls. Like hentai. She did not say any of that. She just like okay, just play it cool. Expose her body in front of Sid. I was like, my girl.
Well, Sid doesn't
That is-
care, so
That is my girl, right? That is definitely my type of girl. Oh my god, Alex, this is why I put her in S rank. So, yeah, I gotta say, Alexa, man, dude, she is something else, man. Like she has this sort of cool persona, but kind of how does Zawa nail her voice, by the way? Cool persona, like, and she's fearless. She just sometimes she just play along, even when she was captured, even though she got tortured. She say, "Okay, this is my life." Dude, something about Alexa, she just hits different for me, man. She's definitely the type of
this
girl.
show definitely has some great waifus. I will give it that.
Exactly.
I think
though
Alexia is the most
even though
interesting.
Even though Alpha
Well,
needs
there's
more,
Alexia and then there's Delta.
Alpha needs more screen time, though.
To
I feel like
me,
she-
Alpha
I
needs
feel
more
like
screen time.
to me, I feel like Alexia is the most interesting female character in that series because it feels like she's it feels like because she's kind of more involved. Like the other girls, like they're kind of in there because they're part of Sid's organization, but with Alexia, she's not really she's not really part, but she's still affiliated because she keeps running into it, and the interactions that there, it gives some a lot of context to her, whereas I would have felt like she could have just easily just fell in line as part of the harem, but it's more like she's just like more, I guess, I don't know how you say, proactive, I guess. I'm not so sure if that's the best way to describe it, but Is that to where I'm like, the scenes with her are the ones that are a lot more enjoyable because you're just like, okay, where's she? How is she go? What is she gonna do next? How she's gonna get involved? How is her relationship with Sid gonna be like this time around?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Despite my numerous accumulating gripes, it still has this show still has its
And it's still
interesting moments.
enjoyable.
I still just feel like I wish there was something to get me more engaged beyond just the usual thing like the initial appeal.
I mean,
And
there was a
so-
moment last episode, in the latest episode.
I mean, that's a thing, but what about the next episode?
Also,
the
the thing I've realized is that every girls get the spotlight eventually. Like, I think this is
And the
arc
fact
where-
that this is not only just a 2-core, it's like essentially a 3-core because it's 20 episodes.
yeah, 20
But
episodes.
Pretty much, I can go I can go take my break from anime this in January, come back, and it will still be airing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, other than that, though, I can agree with Ryu what he said. But after the I Am Atomic, the stories just got very meh.
Yeah,
But still, though, like I'm still entertained. I'm still enjoying.
yeah, and I don't
I
blame
also-
anyone who do
And I still-
enjoy
I
this.
just-
Even though it's
still
20
see it
episodes,
more.
I've been hearing that like some people are upset because it feels like, and I kind of do agree with this. I feel like it is rushing a bit.
I don't feel.
It
rushed.
doesn't feel like it, honestly.
maybe-
I thought it was
I think
fun.
a lot of
I thought
people think the
pacing was
first couple of-
okay.
I think a lot of people were hang up by the first couple of episodes because, especially those who have read the light novel, I think a lot of them were like, "Oh, hang on, we're starting here," sort of thing. So like, because
Well,
I
think
remember.
the reason why they start off like that on episode 1 is to get that out of the way, actually. So just to introduce what he's like in the human world before Isekai.
Wait, didn't it? I'm pretty sure a couple like episodes ago, they just had hit like 1 volume adapted.
First
Yeah.
9 episodes. First like 8,
first 9.
7 episodes. Yeah, 1 in
So
1 only.
that's like, I don't know.
Decent.
Maybe the recent episodes is different, but like for them to do 8 or 9 episodes of for 1 volume, that's like
That's pretty damn good.
that's a
honestly,
really
yeah.
good adaptation.
That's really
like,
good,
in
man.
terms of
It's like the what's it called again? The World Finest Assassin last year. They redo do justice with the light novel. So I'm very happy that Eminence in Shadow is getting the love it deserves, and it also got a game too. Apparently, from what I can, because I actually downloaded the game, I play a bit of it. It actually adds in some extra story to how Sid, find the girls and develop them before they left him. So we get to see some extra story along the way. See,
I wouldn't have minded having actually seen that. So we just like, but I guess you can't have everything. So.
And here's the funny thing: we get root. We got some root in the game too, so I know which route I'm going for. So, yeah. So Eminence in Shadow. Yeah, I mean, so far the latest. I'm pretty sure next episode will be the last episode of this current arc we're in. And my subscriber told me that we'll be moving on to an even more epic arc after this. So I'm looking forward to it.
Look, I will be happy providing that they get rid of this church thing like in the next couple of episodes and just move on. Because I'm really over that.
But the thing I'm quite curious about is that will our boy Sid find his match, his like main opponent that he cannot defeat. So he have
because so far he's just been like, really, is that all you've got?
Yeah, exactly. He's like just so swaggy about it too. So, well, I guess I have to save it for the remaining 6 episodes left. But
Yeah.
so I mean,
yeah, for me, I mean, I understand why people like this shit series. I do think Sid's a badass. I do like the action, and I do like the girls as well. I mean, there's a lot of great girls.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite?
Oh my! I think it might be Alpha, but I know that Delta and Gamma are also really high up there as well. So, yeah, I do like. Yeah, I mean, I do like the girls, but like, now I gotta get into my hot takes here. Now I gotta get into my complaints. All right,
Okay, go ahead.
my main. Let's start with the first one. too much damn fan service. Like, oh my god! I mentioned this back on Twitter, but like, I hate the fan service.
That's that. I think with Emirates and Shadow, that's the point.
It's not even an ecchi. What is going on here? Like,
it is actually meant to be an ecchi, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Oliver there.
Right, the reason why I say that is because I've been speaking to La Reviews Lewis, who has read the source material, and it is meant to be ecchi.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, I guess yeah, but even if that were the case, like you got episode fucking 10, 11, where they have like a fucking boob and an ass shot every 30 seconds. It's like, oh my god, like it just takes away from it's too much. It takes away from the story.
To be honest, that was just like a one episode thing. To be honest, like that was just one episode.
Yeah, I actually haven't really noticed it. I will admit.
Until that episode,
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I get it, but like I've not noticed it at all. But what's some of your other gripes about it?
I mean, I think the fan service could just been incorporated a lot better. Also, what are they doing with Rose's character? I don't understand her affection for Sid, because when they first met in that fucking Coliseum, she was like, "Oh, I respect you as a swordsman, your ability to keep fighting." Like, it was just, a respect between opponents. And then later in the episode, she's like, "Oh my god, Sid, he sacrificed his life for me. I'm head over heels for Sid." I don't, what the fuck?
Play the game, man. Play the game. We'll see more about it.
Oh, was they explaining the game? They should explain it in the damn anime. Like, oh my
god.
It doesn't make any sense.
If they need No. If they have to explain it in something else, they failed, honestly. If you can't explain it in your anime and you have to actually go out of your way to create a game to explain something that maybe even minor or something like that, you're failed. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's true.
I think it's more so like they like it's over dramatic because of how Sid kind of treats everything. Like he still thinks a lot of this is just a joke. What is the trope, Chinibyo or whatever it's called? He that's literally him. Right? It's just So I think maybe that's why, it's more. It's not so more how she it's kind of odd how she is about him, but I think it's more so what it does with Sid's character. I don't know, his reactions necessarily to it, which
that's true. Sid pretty much is treating everything like it's a game, it doesn't concern him at all until something major happens. Mm-hmm. And I think that's another. Actually, now that I think about it some more, I think that's another problem I have with it, is because he just treats everything whatever, move on, because it's a game to him. And
he doesn't think that any of this shit happening is actually real.
Yeah, he thinks that's the thing. He doesn't realize. I'm at the point where I don't think he even realized he died.
I don't know about that.
There's been instances where the girls come up to him to ask him about input on something. He's just like, yeah, go ahead, sure, do that. He doesn't treat it like all this shit is actually a real thing.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Yeah, those are kind of my main criticisms I have with this series so far. Also, I still stand by with the other criticisms I have back in the last podcast. I don't exactly remember what I said, but I'm pretty sure I stand by them. So, but yeah, other than that, Eminence and Shadow, it's I mean, I understand why people enjoy it, but I just don't agree with people who put it on such a high pedestal at all.
It really shouldn't be on a high pedestal either. Same with Chainsaw Man. Don't put.
I don't feel.
Just don't put anime on pedestals.
I mean, I don't have a strong opinion about this one either. There's been bits of it that I've enjoyed, but also there's a lot I don't really care for about it. I'm just kind of in the middle with this one so far, I would say.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes, but
It's the most enjoyable anime. It's enjoyable isekai for this year. So nothing else. This isekai this year.
I will
really-
say though that I for Rose did a great job voicing Delta. I mean, she's on a roll. She's kind of on a roll this season. Like she voiced with her voicing both Power and Delta, voicing those fiendish, crazy cute girls.
I know, right? She has her throat. Her throat is gonna be destroyed after this season.
Yep, pretty
But-
much.
Shall we move
so
on?
The,
'Cause I
the next
like,
one is
Can Cole season
Can-
2.
yeah.
Didn't watch.
Skip
Yeah,
it.
I didn't
Oh,
watch
yeah, okay.
I-
We'll skip this.
It's delayed. FC. It's delayed. FC, man.
All right, next
Oh,
up is
what
then
about Gundam?
Gundam.
Next time we can discuss about Gundam.
Ooh, which from
Gundam.
Mercury? Which from Mercury?
Dropped.
It is
Gundam.
Sensei Gundam.
Oh, which one?
I can say this for myself that Mirin is indeed an S tier a girl for the season, man. Oh
Well,
my.
Kana Kole, I have nothing to
Yeah,
say
I've been
about it.
liking what we've been seeing with Mirin a lot. Like she's probably
Mirin-
actually my
We're talking about Gun. Sorry.
yeah,
Gundam.
she's probably actually my favorite character.
Me too, man. High
Yeah.
five. Like,
Oh.
I get it. She's been quite strict with Suletta like 2 episodes ago. We get it because she has to run a business now. Her episode, I'm still surprised the business idea got sold to the father. If I to be honest with you, but the fact that she able to like sell the idea on the spot, by the way, on the spot to the whole business conference area. It just goes to show that she really cares for Suletta. I mean, at first that she didn't really care much because she just says find Suletta as the way to get out of this arranged marriage. But you can just see those two starting to develop their strong bond for each other throughout the season. Like that was the key concept from what I can see from these two. Like their relationship just got better. I mean, of course, the
moment in the most recent episode was like really good. Like when they were
she
chasing each other.
hugged Suletta and just tell her rely on me more. And so that was the best scene, man. That's why I say that Suletta and Mirin are like, well, one of the best Yuri couples of this year. So that's why I really like support them. Well, I'm not sure how the final episode go because knowing it's a Gundam series, well, the shit can happen. And
there's still like I still think this Gundam series is going to be 50 episodes, like how most of the new inserts are.
50? So, I think it's 24, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Like I'm just saying, like that's the first season because like there's this first core and then the second.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like part 1, part 2, like Spy Family.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I
I'm thinking like because with these new Gundam inserts, that's usually what they do. Like Iron Blooded Orphans was the first season was 25 episodes, and then the second season was the same way. They're just spreading it out more. Like Iron Blooded Orphans, like the first season, like aired all 20 whatever episodes straight, but this is kind of taking a break.
I can see why people weren't too enjoying this Gundam series because it's quite slow. Because people are expecting it to be like Gundam Seed or Destiny, where there's every episode like a fight, Gundam fight and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but this
Gundam series, from my experience at least, Gundam series traditionally most of the time start off more slow in terms of like
I
feel like we have yet to really dive into like the meat of this series. Although we have had some conflict, but I just feel like we've barely.
To be honest, I feel like this whole conflict is just business conflict. To be honest, they want to do this. They want to defeat this guy for this grasp of this business. So it's very business oriented compared to politics. Politics is like
usually it's politics.
It's politics, but this is more business oriented. So.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can say people are not too happy with this change in approach, but for me though, I'm all for it. To be honest, like just seeing more Gundam fights. I mean, I gotta say, Sunrise Studio, they really stepped it up with some of the scenes with the Gundam. Like comparing the Gundam now to some Gundam back in the early 2000s, they really know how to take this franchise seriously. So I'm very happy with it. So
yeah, I've been impressed with the like the action pieces for sure. I've been hearing they have been having like some production issues with it though. I think still though, from the look of it, it's held up thankfully, and probably makes sense why we're seeing it split up into like 2 cores or whatever. But yeah, honestly, I have still been enjoying this Gundam series. I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it as much as Iron-Blooded Orphans as I was like around this episode count.
Oh, Iron Blood Orphans is goated.
Yeah, but like I was liking this a lot towards the beginning, and I feel like it's kind of dipped a little bit for me, but not like a drastic amount. Like like I said, I'm still enjoying it. So but like in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I know we haven't really got into like the meat of the series yet. So a lot of this is just build up, and so yeah, it's kind of just keep that in mind, I would say, because that's kind of how Gundam like it. Like I said, it would not surprise me one bit if there's another season that's like 24, 25 episodes. So
I'm pretty sure this is just the beginning of what to come. Like part 1 is just like a sign to come. Part 2 will be like the beginning of what catastrophe what will happen, and then maybe season 2, that's where the shit happens. So
and usually what they'll do with like these Gundam series is they'll like, it kind of seems like we're just here at the academy for the most part, but I feel like as we go on there, it's gonna get like the scale of it is gonna like we're gonna be more like
I totally forgot that they're in the academy, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not all gonna be primarily at this academy. Like it's gonna be spread out through like multiple areas, I feel like, as it goes on. So
but I'm starting to see that Earth like fighters or wherever, they're gonna be even more of a part in this story now. So let's just see how to end the season, end the part 1. So Real, do you have anything to say before we move?
I'm just not feeling this. It was great. The prologue was great. Was pretty solid.
Yeah, I really like.
And I just don't know how to feel about this like school academy driven thing. I just don't even know what this thing wants to do. I understand this is a Gundam thing, and where things just start off very slow and steady. But unlike with the other Gundams, this one is not very engaging beyond the whole shebang with the Yuri thing, which isn't even that strong. I'm not really digging Yuri and Surueta's relationship. It feels very lopsided. Like, yeah, they had some good moments. I wanted to support that, but it just doesn't feel like they've had much of a very fulfilling dynamic. And that might change along the way, like when the second core comes around, maybe that develops a little more. But for right now, I'm just not really digging this part. Like I'm not really much of a fan when it comes to the more political sort of things, unless if it does it in a way where I feel like I'm more locked in to caring about it because it concerns the characters a lot more. But here, I just don't have much of a good a strong stance on it. It's just kind of like whatever. What are we trying to do here? Like, are we here to just do this sort of school academy thing? Are we doing this social political battle? Are we having this sort of what do we do? Like this melodrama? What are we doing? Like, this is why I'm usually so mixed on Gundam, because they kind of just toss around a lot of things. And for the most part, I'm not really engaged because like I'm dealing with just a bunch of things thrown at me, and I'm just like, come on, just stick to a plan, and I can get along with it. Right now, I don't think it's sticking to a particular plan yet. But again, I hope that changes with the next core whenever that airs.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that improves.
I will say I don't feel as strongly about, like, overall, as an overall cast, I do not feel as strongly about, these than, like, compared to, like, Iron-Blooded Orphans, for example, which is, like, the last main, new Gundam insert.
Wait, have you watched Gundam Origin yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that one. But I feel like with, besides like Mirin, like I mentioned, like Soleta's alright, but I feel like the other characters that have like Ghoul, for example, I wasn't like too crazy on his little section that they had in the first core, and then Ellen or Alan, whatever his name was, that guy. Same thing with him, but I mean, Choo Choo had like that moment where she punched the one girl. I mean, that was kind of a moment,
was rather hilarious, honestly.
Yeah. So I mean, there was like that, and then like there's the Nika girl, and then I guess the mom is pretty intriguing to me. I find her a pretty fascinating character. But besides really the mom, I guess in Miorin, in comparison to like IBO, you had like Orga and you had McGillis, you had Naze, you had just I don't know. I feel like there's a lot. I cared more about the actual group, like Tekkadan, more than kind of the group that they've assembled here. So maybe that'll change as it goes along. But yeah, still enjoying it though. It's still been solid for me personally.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't think
next
this.
up is let's see, Malad, you want to talk about Raven of the Inner Palace?
Well, I'm not going to spend too long on it, so because I know not a lot of you guys watch it, so I'm just going to keep it quite simple. It's my underrated anime for, well, not just this season, this year, because I don't see a lot of people talking about it on Twitter and on Anime Trending and on Anime Corner until I post my comments and people show up. So, well, I can say, man, I can see why not a lot of people actually enjoyed it because it's really, 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 really slow in terms of the mystery solving and just all this dialogue and stuff like that. So when I see people drop the anime, I say, sure, I don't mind because I know it's not for everyone. But if someone that finished the anime and just can't see any benefits from it, I just say, okay, so you finished it. But I still, man, like the reason why I enjoy this a lot more, not only because like the whole mystery and some horror elements to it with some of the ghost stuff, but also like the backstory to the ghost was quite sad sometimes. I actually feel quite emotional in one of the episodes. But seeing our main girl Shusetsu or Nyan Nyan, if they keep on calling her that way, yeah, I just gotta call her Nyan Nyan. Well, she went from a very introverted, secluded girl because she's been held captive in that specific mansion or chamber for a long time until she started meeting the emperor. I think everything began when she met the emperor, and then as she progressively getting involved with the emperor and meeting other people, especially what's her name again? Especially Juju. Yeah, Juju, which I gotta say, best girl. You can say she really changed. I've seen not just seeing like Juju being like a Detective Conan just trying to solve the mystery, but also seeing the fact how she got supported and seeing how she was being cared about by all the characters around her, especially the Emperor, Koukyuu, and of course Kajo and Ishia, and of course her bodyguards too. It just really put a smile on my face when I see someone like her being secluded, now being engaged and be more proactive and be more caring, showing that she has feelings and not just being very held captive into her heart. So it's just not just about the mystery solving, but also see how Nyan Nyan like really develops as a character throughout the season. And although I would say for myself that the last episode was not as impactful as I hoped for it to be, but again though, doesn't erase the fact that this whole anime was really solid for me. I enjoy watching this on the Saturday, literally after like after any of my reactions. So it's just a very, very enjoyable anime. At first, when I saw the trailer, I have zero confidence that this is an anime that I can enjoy. But after watching the first 2 episodes, I don't know why. I did not press the skip button. I just realized I did not press the skip button at all. I stay engaged with the from start to finish. Goes to show that I really enjoyed it. So yeah, and of course the animation really backed it up too with some of the amazing scenes too, especially some of the well drawn out effects too. So I can say more about this, but I'm kind of low in time right now. I need to leave in 15 minutes. So yeah, that's all I can say.
All right. Well, let's move on to.
I will say this. I wanted to like this one. I did. I genuinely did because when I first saw the trailer, I thought like, oh, this could be interesting, and it just felt light, flat. Just something I would have gotten some ideas I would have gotten better if I watched something like Natsume Book of Friends, or something like Violet Evergarden, or even something like what is that one show called? Koukyuu Monogatari. I don't think think most of you may not really hear about that one. It had good ideas there, but I just couldn't care. Either the stories were the individual story was episodic. It's kind of mixed for me, and it's just more like not inherently bad, but just more like you can watch way better stuff, way better ideas executed in all the other stories. I mean,
when you compare to Natsume Yujinjo, I'd just say it's a completely different concept of the story. Sadly.
No, it's not. Well, of course, it's not always the same, but the episodic format, like the way it did it, I couldn't care much at all, as opposed to something like in Natsume Book of Friends, where I just felt like with those episodic things, or like with the others that I do enjoy, I actually can care, like even if it's not something I find memorable, like it actually makes me care on an emotional standpoint. For this one, I just like, okay, it's just whatever, it's just passing by, and that's why I couldn't find myself enjoying it. I mean, the aesthetics are alright for an average looking production, but it's not much of an impression to me. If anything, it's just kind of like the sequel just comes and goes. I mean, which is sad because considering the settings it was, I kind of wish I found more of a reason to enjoy it beyond just that. I mean, but I do think
Cool. Okay.
I do think like maybe if they approach it in a different way, where like maybe like more episodes or something, but I don't know.
You want it to be 24 episodes long? Sure, okay, I can back that up.
Like maybe a little more episodes would have made me care more, but it just didn't work out for me.
Okay,
All right,
mean,
let's
sure,
see.
whatever.
Move on.
Yeah. Oliver, do you want to talk about Iruma-kun season 3?
Oh, season 3. Oh yeah, Oliver, just let you know.
I'm not really feeling this. I'm not really feeling season 3, honestly.
I agree with you. I lost interest in this arc specifically.
Personally, I like it. I've been enjoying it. Obviously, because I freaking adored seasons 1 and 2.
Two is good.
But people have been telling me that they think this particular arc is just maybe running on a bit too long.
It's better in manga form.
At the same time, I think they want to get everything right. So I still like the comedy is great. The story is amazing. So I have no complaints, honestly, with season 3 at all. Like the animation has been on point, the story has been on point, everything's been on point so far. So yeah, I have no complaints with it. That's all I'm going to say with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of. Oh, I wish I wanted to talk more about Mob Psycho 100, but
Mob
I'm just kinda,
Psycho!
Mob Psycho!
It's like
my third favorite anime.
one of 4 things from this year that I have not hesitated to put on my favorites. And because like, let me be real here. I'm very mixed on Mob Story overall, but I feel like the final season felt like a great sense of payoff, even though it wasn't as seamless as I'd hoped as I would have liked it to be. Like I think the emotional highs were great enough for me to where I feel like that was worth the ride. That was worth the ride in terms of the character and the stories, especially with Reagan and Mob. Reagan was goated. I've always loved his character. Because like even though he is this a swindler, the way when it comes to at least trying to be more down to earth and all, like he can be honest about things, especially when he talks to Mob. And when he disclosed like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have powers. I never did. I've lied to you all this time, and turning out for that to be the trigger to stop Mob's rampage. After that horrific accident that set loose his other side, after no one else was able to stop him, like Reagan was literally going at like, yeah, he did get help from Nibble, where I'm a little mixed on him coming back.
Yeah.
Like that is another thing, but at least there was a logical standpoint of why he came back, But that part, like he was fighting, he was trying to fight, he was fighting on his own. Like he was like, they were just like, okay, just don't get into a fight, man, and he just let them be, and it's just that exchange, and that's what stopped Mom. It was just like, but the way the
It's
because
just,
because the
it
way
is crazy. It's crazy
because
that the thing that stopped him was just a general like human interaction, you know, like
it's always about like the fights have always the conflicts in there like start despite all this Esper power, it's always been settled with human just talking, just having this grounded human interactions.
yeah.
And like the fun, I think what's befitting about it, and I'm not gonna say Mob Psycho is like 10 out of 10 storytelling, but I felt like a lot of themes are done so well, regardless of how I feel about the consistency of the story. Like I feel like when Reagan told Mob about like, oh, like we'll just disclose, just kind of let it off his chest, like, oh, I don't have any powers. He was being honest about things, and like, yeah, I lied, but it's just like, I am just who I am, and you are who you are. You're fine the way you are. And I felt like that was a strong message to Mom. Just like, what you are, before you don't need to go to what you were like during the rampaging. That you're as good as who you are, with or without powers. And that's what got Mob to calm down. And that's it's just great.
I think it's like simple. It's like
I think
these
Reagan
it's
for
so
me,
simple, but it's a message that often just
Reagan
kind
for
of
me,
weighs
though,
over.
has to be one of the most powerful lines he had to say through, like for the
One of the
whole
most
without a doubt.
powerful lines
Without a
I've
doubt.
heard in anime.
yeah.
Like seriously, like this is why Reagan. This is why I ranked Reagan higher than Mob, because Reagan was always there to support Mob. Well, even though he did got brainwashed at some point of the season, but still though, like seeing the fact how he was supporting Mob, he did not give up on Mob. By the way, he just keeps on trying to get to Mob.
That scene, just him just running, that thing. I'm just like, damn, that's just
stuff, man. That is pure stuff right there. So, I guess I full credit for Bone Studio for continuously dedicate their passion for Mob Psycho.
I do wish more, like the production is so well managed for Mob Psycho as a whole.
I loved it. It's actually one of my favorite, like production wise. It has to be one of my favorites. Like
indeed,
because like very few anime get the same production like handled beforehand. Now I know not everything can be like that because times there, a lot of things come out. Other people got assignments. Not everyone's going to be on deck to be able to do this particular project. Like everyone's got to be on board and all, and like have good timetables. So it's very hard. As much as people may complain about it, it's like not every series is going to have that sort of production priorities like Mob Psycho did. But so it goes to show how special it is for regardless of how you feel about the fundamentals behind it. Like they really do care about this series a lot. It's sad that is the end of it all.
Yeah,
but it's a great wrap.
Yeah, isn't this a series finale?
That was the series.
It's just gonna be another season after
That was
this.
solid.
I just wish there.
Yeah, it concluded.
But it just felt like complete. Like there's nothing else to go on.
What's your takes on people saying that this season has been quite more like a goodbye season, like more like a closing season? Like everything like building up to this, just that last scene. So
that's why I felt like it valued a lot. It felt like a lot more value for me than the previous two seasons. Honestly.
Although I still prefer season 2 because of some of the stuff going on there. But
that was my weak. Season 2 was my weakest because I wasn't fond of the whole, the whole conflict with Toshio and all like that. That's a personal thing though. I'm not gonna blame anyone who does it.
Season 2 is probably my favorite overall still too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with memory right there.
But they're also like they're all still like close. Like there's not really a huge gap between like any of the seasons really, in my opinion. But
yeah.
But yeah, like it's just crazy to think with like all the crazy like psychic shit going on, the crazy fights and like production value that our favorite moments, or most people's favorite moments in the series, tend to just be like the character one-on-ones, like with Reagan and Mob.
Yeah,
think,
it's
like
always been
in the
that.
last episode, even
It's always
the
been like
first,
that.
even the first episode of this season, I really liked with like the career path thing. It like I loved that final scene at the end of episode 1 with like Reagan and Mob. So like that, and even in season 2 when Mob was telling him that he knows that he's like genuinely a good guy. Like I always look back at that scene.
This is just generally my favorite bone. Like even though it's not like a favorite, like season 3 is like a thing I would put on. Like I'm not gonna say this thing is a 10 out of 10 thing, but it's easily my favorite series produced by Bones. Easily, it says a lot.
I would
I
probably
know
say the same.
Bungo Stray Dogs is kind of a thing, but
Oh my god, I'm hoping Bungo Stray Dogs season 4 gonna excel even more. Okay, I'm just hoping the.
it's just
series
like
put the
I
love
mixed
for-
on Bungo Stray Dogs, you know, story wise. It's still fun, but
think
Mob
all the
Psycho is
stories-
just kind of just.
We'll get into that next podcast. We'll get into that
Yeah,
next
next
podcast.
podcast.
We'll get into that
Yeah.
next- Can,
I
so
think
yeah,
But yeah,
my
for me,
Uber- my
overall,
Uber driver has arrived. So this is try to end it here, Mob, for me. So
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a quick conclusion too. Very good animation. I didn't get into the story as much as most people, but it was still good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for me, Mob Psycho 100, man. Oh my god, it's just so good. I remember before, you know, I love the. First of all, I just want to say I love the characters. You know, more of our favorite characters. More great action animation from Bones. You know, it's amazing. But however, I remember like before I watched the final episode, like I was like, okay, I'm not too. It's good, but I'm not really feeling Mob Psycho 100. I'm probably gonna put this in my honorable mentions once I make my top 10 anime of 2022 video. But then I watched that final episode, and oh my god, it was phenomenal. Like that's what convinced me to skyrocket this anime to the top 3 of the year.
Because
Okay.
I think that final episode
That just
takes a
hit.
lot of the things prior.
It just hit.
Yeah, it
just
takes a lot of
wrapped
the moments
everything up
prior.
so nicely.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for the final podcast of 2022. Sorry, I just leave now because I
No
have to
problem.
attend. I need to go
No problem.
somewhere today. I know bad timing, but what can we do, man? But with that, hope you guys have a fantastic New Year's Eve. See you guys in the next podcast in around February. And well, other than that, my favorite anime of the season, Eminence in Shadow. That's all I can say. So I just support my man Kawaii crew with a liking this video, and I'll see you guys next time.
All right, see ya, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for attending.
Oh no.
All right, so I'm just gonna wrap up Mob Psycho 100 real quick. So yeah, you know, final episode was phenomenal, and you know the performance by Takahiro Sakurai, man, it's oh my god, it's so good. There's a reason why you know Reagan's like one of his best roles. Like I remember, hell, like I think also you know gotta give credit to One in the writing as well, because I remember like I watched a clip from the dub of the English dub voice actor voicing that Reagan's monologue, and that still hit me. Like even though I'm not a big fan of dubs, that scene still hit me in like the feels. It still got me choked up. So yeah, that's a testament to how great you know One's writing is and everything. If I do. What are you about to say?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it goes to show, like, when he wants to be serious with his like character writing, he can,
Yeah.
because you can't really say, like, I don't know about the future of One Punch Man manga, but I'm sure it doesn't really change or deviate that much in terms of like the character writing, at least.
I don't feel as strong about One Punch Man nowadays as I do with Mob Psycho. Even though I did enjoy season 1.
I just think Mob is a more complete package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
And if
sure.
I do have like, and like I think that, like if I were to name some cons I have with this show, it would be, I think it would really be like you know the couple of episodes where they're like you know the occult
alien
club,
shit.
yeah, the alien shit. That's probably like the
Yeah.
lowest point in the entire.
That shit was funny. The one with this
It
guy
was
just
funny. It
randomly
was funny, but I
abducted by aliens.
Yeah,
Just got
it does
lost
feel
with
kind of like.
It
In a
feels
way, it
very out
does
of
feel
place,
kind
though.
of like you could have placed that in like any season or something. And it just,
Yeah.
you know, I do see why.
Yeah, it just
You-
felt
and-
like
yeah.
it was boring. Like I mean, the scenes before it just felt like you know the pacing just really slowed down, and like I still don't understand why they decided to go with the whole you know Inuzuka gets invaded by alien shit. I mean, I guess it was funny, but It just felt so out of place. Like, what was the purpose of that
Yeah.
scene?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just so random.
Yeah, it's so fucking random.
It's like they're just reminding you, like, oh, it's still 1, and he still
Yeah.
likes his goofy ass shit.
I guess so.
But yeah, I agree with you. The placing of it is kind of interesting. It's kind of.
Yeah, I think that's really the only problem I have with Mob Psycho 100 season 3, and also maybe the fact the first two first two episodes were just kind of eh. But yeah, other than that, yeah, Mob Psycho 100 season 3 fucking fantastic. Is anybody watching Bibliophile Princess?
No,
Yeah, but I
I
don't have
started
anything to
actually.
say. It's boring.
No,
It was
I'm not
kind of
watching.
slow.
Gotcha.
Actually. Yeah.
Memory, you
All
want
right,
to talk
now
about? You want to
yeah,
talk
we
about
got
Peter
to Memory's
Grill?
favorite anime. Yeah, Memory's favorite anime
man.
of the season.
Peter Grill.
Why am I still here? I don't know. But...
Yeah, why are you still
Why
watching
are we,
this?
Yeah,
why are we even
Because of the
why are you even
boobs,
thinking
Memory,
about
because of
talking
the
about this
boobs.
one? They didn't
That's true.
move. The boobs didn't move. That's what happened.
Didn't
That's what.
move.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I watched season 1 and it was kind of like a guilty pleasure in a way, but I just was like, okay, I'll watch season 2. So I did.
And it's a short.
Yeah. It's easy to
good
watch,
word.
so
I guess.
whatever.
It was hard for me to get through even though it was short, it was hard for me to get through because somehow
Yeah.
the animation got worse.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just like, I don't even care. It's just,
I dropped
oh,
this
I'm just
shit.
gonna kill some. I'm just gonna kill some time. Whatever. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It is bad.
Oh man. All right.
All right, next up, Renai Flops, aka
Renai
Love
Flops.
Flops. Anepode, I know you enjoyed this show as well.
Yeah, I did, but mostly because of the last few episodes. If you just go to the first 7 or 8 episodes, this was kind of trash, to be honest. But after the few last episodes, without spoiling too much, but there was kind of a twist, and that really boosted the show up, to become, at least for me, better. I do understand why people still don't like it, because let's face it, the first few episodes they were not that good, but
Oh god.
yeah, but the last few episodes really it made it become a lot more different kind of anime, and I really got invested into it a lot more after that.
I don't think. Well, does anyone else have anything to say? I want to
I'm
make
not
it
watching
mine's
No,
quick.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
The twist at the end for me, then the whole AI sci-fi part, and then and it turns out a childhood friend with some terminal disease was kind of the issue behind this. Like, I wasn't digging that sort of twist. It's not like I was really any bit liking it in particular, but it's just like, oh, you just decide to toss in that just to be a little bit more interesting now? Is that where we're going? So I wasn't digging that. And then the very end, I'm just like, okay, all that emotional bit, and they just all come back like that? Or you're gonna pull an organization part where you literally have Alex just come in
At
with
least it was a happy ending, though.
yeah, but happy endings are not gonna cut it from someone like me. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Bad endings don't. Sad endings don't cut it from either. It has to become.
I
The
was
journey
gonna
has
like,
to matter.
Has to be sad ending. Then it's no, just kidding. But no, I enjoyed it for what it was, but mostly because of the last few episodes when they really made that twist. So
I see. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done with this show.
Did anybody else watch this one or no?
Nah.
I think Madla did, but he left, so I think he fairly enjoyed it.
Oh,
He
here we
said
go.
Renai Flops is a fun harem series. The twist didn't hit well for me though. So I just gave it. The ending was
the ending
predictable,
was
but it was
interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
So it was the average score.
I still
okay,
communicating
that's fine
with
enough.
us.
Yeah, that's good to see.
He's still writing.
Yeah, I think it's going to say something for all of them.
Yeah, for
Oh,
like the
okay.
remaining like Spy. I'm guessing like Spy Family and some of the other shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of Spy
we
Family-
can just
Speaking of Spy Family,
Shall we move
I'm
on?
disappointed. I'm disappointed in this corp. honestly.
I don't blame you. I don't fucking blame
Me
you.
too.
wasn't the best one. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I
Like the
heard-
episode,
I
I
heard-
feel like with Core One, we get a really good way of developing the dynamics. With part 2, just meandering around. I just feel like it was more a problem with how the character dynamics just crystallized, because they're not. It doesn't feel like they were proactively moving any sort of plot forward. And I understand that, but
I do think in the second half, the story sort of just came to a halt in a way, and they just did did the side story with the tennis tournament, which was fun. It was funny, but there's been no actual story development since part 1. I have to say.
But I think that's going to come later.
There's been character development, but no story development.
Yeah.
Well, I say we got some at the very end, but like the very end of the.
Yeah, I think Madlad mentioned some arc that's going to come later on, and hopefully the story will pick itself up.
Yeah, he says Spy Family Part 2 has been a drag.
Yeah, I did read the I did read the manga. There is going to be some more interesting segments, but Core 2 just feels. I'm so mad they didn't at least adapt that one side chapter. But that was hilarious. That I don't know if I want to spoil or not, but it involved Yor having to deal with a bullet in her ass, literally a bullet in her ass, because after some hilarious shit with a mission. And I was
maybe that's happening in the next season,
or maybe in the movie.
Or in the movie, yes, they did announce a movie and a second season. I think the movie
was going to be
I'm praying that happens. Most likely within the next TV season, but it's just like y'all gonna miss that. That was one of my more favorite comedic moments in the manga, and I have not even got to that one yet.
Again, going back briefly to Bleach, like the amount of content they've skipped over, it's like you have to expect it. So. Like it's a shame, but maybe there's a reason for it.
Yeah. Anyone else got something to say about
Spy Family? Spy Family, I largely agree with you guys. Like it kind of like the comedy and the wholesome moments. It's largely still there. And it still looks great. Cloverworks still did a great job with this.
Great animation and everything.
Also, to be fair, on part 2, I think it's aired in the wrong season. Like, think of everything else that's aired this season and compare it to Spy Family. Spy Family had a lot of competition this season. A lot of competition. So, you can't blame them for trying at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much... Those are pretty much the only positives I have with part 2. And then...
If it was in the split core...
Yeah.
And it was in summer, it probably wouldn't have been a bad impression because there wasn't as much stuff with summer.
Like, what was the point of introducing the chick that was in love with Lloyd?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that because I was gonna get that out of the way.
In the end, she was pointless. She was pointless in the end. There was no reason to have her.
Say it with me, everyone. Say it with me, everyone. Fuck Fiona and everything.
I actually liked Fiona. I thought she was great.
She's a good character.
There are a lot of people that like her. There are a lot of
She's a good character, but she was pointless.
Those people cannot be trusted.
I didn't really care much for her, to be honest. Like, she's kind of just kind of like, okay, just there. If anything, it was just more entertaining, like with the tennis part, and then how that part where she literally diced the ball. It's like, and it's like, I'll just hit a little there. I'm ready. It's like, oh wait, what? And Yor just cuts down her power, and she still rockets that shit like it's a fucking missile. And when you say speed of sound, I'm like, great, we finally got something.
I didn't actually enjoy the tennis part. I thought that one was very slow. But
it wasn't really
like, it was animated well, but I didn't really care for it.
But just Fiona herself.
I only cared about the hella animated out of the part because it, as someone who kind of pays attention to Sakuga for better or worse. Not that I'm saying like, more Sakuga the better. It's just more like, so that's how that scene kind of just came to be, that particular animator or something. But otherwise, it wasn't a particularly major segment. It was just kind of there. See, core 2 overall, aside from the part where they meet Bond for the first time and they were finally a complete family.
That's what I was gonna say.
That
was
like
good.
The
And then
Bond was actually like introducing Bond. That was really good.
The first
Yeah,
few
that was
episodes in
amazing.
the core were good.
Amazing,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like the whole stuff with the dog and the bomb thing. Like
So I
this
guess
core
there
was a
was
mixed
some
bag.
story. All right, I'll take it back. There was some story development, but there should have been more. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
in the story development happened in the first half of part 2, and then they sort of dropped off.
For me personally, it's like this core was like a mixed bag because it started off well, and I think it did end off well with like the stuff with Lloyd and then
Yeah, I
Damien
think-
and Desmond. I think it left off well.
Yeah, I think it also left off in a good way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
But
then like the
overall,
thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I think the season overall has felt like a lot of fillers more than the actual
Oh yeah.
progress of the story.
Yeah, like so like yeah, the beginning of the core I liked, and then the Fiona stuff, the tennis stuff, I wasn't like really that big on. And then also there was, I don't know if you guys remember, there was that one episode where they focused on that kid with
Yeah,
like
like the
freaking
Georgie.
the
Yeah.
football
Yes,
head.
Georgie.
That was
yeah.
straight up fucking
mini
filler.
mini
What was the point of that?
Frankenstein looking
Yeah.
ass.
What was the point of that?
That was hilarious.
Dude, that made me like laugh so hard. It was so stupid, but it was just
It was
Was-
stupid.
I
Was
read
it
that
like
part.
who-
I actually remember reading that part of the manga, and I'm just like, "What the fucking hell?"
yeah, when they were
This
like singing
idiot.
that song and dancing, I was like, what the hell am I
What is going on?
The fucking
was the
scene
guy
with
who-
I feel like
Damien
the
dancing.
author. I feel like the author
But what
just
did-
randomly wrote that in just for shits and giggles. Just like, hey, I'm just gonna give it a
What
Frankenstein.
really
kid.
sold it? What really sold that moment for me is that like everyone's just like, all right, give us our stuff back.
Yeah, you ain't fucking leaving, you fucking lying
Yeah.
piece of
Like-
shit.
I said it before, but he reminded me of, if anyone have watched Recess, he reminded me of Randall.
Oh,
Recess.
Oh my gosh, that brings me back. Recess, holy shit.
holy fuck!
Oh yes, yes,
The guy
yes.
who always tells on the teacher what the other
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
others
yeah.
are doing.
Man, that was some good times. Good times back then.
Good times.
Yeah, but so I did not enjoy this core as much as the first one, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I
I
enjoyed the
so
first
did
core a
I.
lot more.
And before we
Yeah.
move on, I do want to just go into detail about my disdain for
Renai
Fiona.
Flops.
Yes.
All right, let's hear it, man.
Because I just want to get this on my chest real quick. Because first of all, why do we need another woman falling in love for Lloyd? I mean, because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, especially considering the fact that she's supposed to be in the same profession as Lloyd, which is like a professional spy, but not. It's like it's 80% of her character is feelings. She's pretty much as unprofessional as she can be. Like it doesn't make
Makes
it
Yuri,
so.
she makes Yuri look like a saint.
I know. I
That says a
kind of
lot.
prefer Yuri like to.
The thing I liked about her is that, and it kind of fits with her name too, you know, that she's kind of, her heart is kind of defrosting as the show goes on.
I guess.
True.
I
I
mean,
thought that was really
That actually kind of makes sense.
I guess it kind of does make sense, but it's like
Yeah.
I don't like what they do with her character, especially the fact when it's pretty much she pretty much drives a wedge in like the whole dynamic between Lloyd and Yor. Like it's a they
Oh,
pretty
that
much make
was
us-
that was something I wasn't fond of.
yeah, they pretty much just make like a love triangle out of it. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I watched this series for the fucking wholesome family dynamic, not the anime version of The Bachelor. Like, what are they doing here? And like, I don't get it. And and of course they drag fucking Sakura Ayane into this character, man. Oh my god. She does not deserve to be in this anime, man. She deserves so much better. I mean, I of course, no hate towards, I'm not blaming her for grievances I have with Fiona
Yeah,
as
of
a
course.
character.
It's the character itself.
I blame the author. I blame the author for how she was written. But yeah, other than that, if I
Anya was still great.
Anya was still great.
Yeah, Anya was
of
great.
course.
Just being on you. That's all.
I
there
think
is.
all the
Star of the
characters
show.
were still great.
Yeah,
I like,
they're still great,
Lloyd,
yeah.
Yor, and like Yor with like the cooking stuff. I did like that. That was
Yeah.
a nice.
Also, I
good.
feel like they could have
Yeah.
done more with Bond is a great addition to the cast, but I feel like they could have done more with his like future predicting powers. Like it kind of was
they
forgotten
didn't.
about.
They sort of brought it up, and then they just like dropped it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
kinda
just-
He's
feel
just
like-
a family member there now.
I feel like maybe once we get into, because
Season
like
2 and the movie.
like the end of this core, like the stuff with like Donovan and stuff. Like it seems like we're finally going to be getting into that in the next season. So maybe that's where Bond's like power will come in handy at some point in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not sure. But
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm curious though, like if you would assume at some point that like Lloyd and Yor find out about Anya's power, right? Like I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. Like what kind of a moment is that going to be?
Well, you have to
Not for
remember
a long
that. Like,
time.
you have to remember that also. Like, Yor doesn't know that Lloyd is
Yeah.
a
Like
spy-
like when
a
is
spy,
yeah, exactly.
and
When are the
vice
secrets?
versa.
Yeah, when are the secrets about all of them going to be broke to each other? That's
That's
where I
when.
think. That's where I think.
probably
Like, I
the
already
end
love
game.
it. I already
That's
love it so
probably the
much.
end game, though.
Yeah,
when
I
it
already
comes
love
down
it so
to-
much, but I
Yeah.
feel like once that like happens, I feel like that could potentially bring this to like even another level for me.
Another
But
drama. I don't know
Yeah.
if the manga is still ongoing. Maybe.
Yeah, it's still,
It
it's
is,
still
yeah.
going.
that may Ryu could be right. Like that's like some end game shit, but yeah, we'll have to see.
Well, I've heard that in terms of progress so far, like at the very least, apparently, Yor and Lloyd now share a bed in the manga.
Woo!
So I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that that's the case. So,
I
They just
don't
have a
remember
bar
that.
next to each other.
like I said, I don't know if it's true, but
They
I've
put
heard
a
that-
giant pillow in between the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, I will say though, one thing
Hello,
also
divided.
I actually do like about Discord is that the amount of focus the handler got in this series. That I actually, yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I like
And it
that.
got a
too.
little bit of character development for us as well. Like there was, like it seems like she brought up the fact I think she had like, in past tense, like she had a daughter or
Yeah,
a
she
son
was
or
a
something
mom.
like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like it, but after that, it wasn't like obviously it wasn't brought up again. But I was like, hang on, so something's up
It
here.
feels like something because I feel like it made me want to like this season more because that was brought up. The handler said that weird thing. Like I didn't notice it the first time around, but when I'm just realizing, I'm like, wait, are you telling me she might know Anya but doesn't know it? That this a theory is coming out. I do not know if this is something.
Yeah,
the
that's a
authors
good point.
intended
Actually,
this.
we don't know Anya's true parents, but I don't know if
Oh,
that
I see what you
means
guys are
that
getting at
Anya
here.
is really
That is-
the handler's daughter. Because it sounded to me more that she had a son. Oh, sorry, had a daughter. Past tense, meaning that this daughter has passed away, sort of thing.
Or maybe like her, but it could also be like her daughter. She thought her daughter was dead because maybe like something happened where the daughter just kind of went MIA and just kind of got taken in or something. I don't know when.
Yeah,
but
well,
it's just hopefully like when the author wants to establish an end game or something or some more relevant relations, we'll get answers. But I don't think he plans to do that for anytime soon. Well, I mean, from the looks of it. Unfortunately.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
But yeah,
it'll
any
be.
final-
All I'm going to say is that I'm looking forward to the movie in season 2.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
All right.
I-
Next up, are we ready to move on to Reincarnated as a Sword?
I
That's
used to
what I'm
have
not watching.
things. I used to have some good things to say about it, but it's just like whatever.
No, I
Just
got
one
bored
is
with it,
this.
so I
Well, let's
dropped
see.
it eventually.
got
Mad
bored with
Lad
it.
says has to be one of my displeased isekai of this year. Didn't like the concept to begin with and makes no sense.
I mean, I initially liked the little dynamic with Fran and the sword guy, but after that, it's just kind of petered out a lot. Sadly, it's just like, oh, it's just there. It's just whatever. I'm happy for it getting I'm happy for it getting a season 2. That's cool. That's cool. But it's just like
I'll watch season
whatever.
2 because I feel like this, like, it's nothing special, but I did have some fun with it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's nothing crazy. I just feel like it's something where it's just like a nice like what do they call it, like a popcorn flick or something.
Yeah, popcorn flick.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
that's kind of yeah.
I like the moments with them, but I didn't. Whenever they were out fighting or doing their guild stuff or stuff like that, that's when I was interested. The only reason I kept watching as much as I did was because of their relationship with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing. That was the main thing that I felt like it at least had going for it.
Not to mention,
much more than that.
Yeah, and also not to mention, I thought it was kind of weird that the sword had arms to help her, etc. So
Like freaking, what was that one Pokemon? Aegis Slash?
Aegis Slash. Yeah.
I kept thinking about that.
Yeah.
but
Reincarnated as a Pokemon.
There we go.
I was surprised by
There
some
we
of
go.
the action pieces though. From like I feel like some action pieces are actually fairly well.
Yeah.
So
Some
it's
actions were actually
Yeah.
pretty well animated, which is quite impressive. I just wished there was more of an impact for them in terms of like story wise, because it just felt more like just boss rating and all. And at least there was strategy, no ass pulls though. But I just wish the story was more interesting than just that, because just kind of just them just going around just.
There's not a whole lot
to.
I don't know. There's not a whole lot to grasp onto in terms of the characters or like the story. Like
it kind of sucks, honestly.
Yeah. Well, not much to really say about that one. To be honest.
Next up,
two more left.
Urusei Yatsura 2022. Yeah, I included it in the list because I know Oliver read the manga, and so
I haven't finished it. I have not finished it, but I have been reading the manga.
Yeah, did you watch this 2022 adaptation?
I did.
Yeah, I've also reacted to all the episodes so far, but the only thing I would say is that I think it's not really a progressing story, if you know what I mean.
It's not meant to be. That's the thing. It's
pretty episodic. It's pretty episodic.
It's very episodic. Like even the manga is episodic. So literally one chapter is an episodic tale. So
Which this is an older. It's an older series.
Yeah, exactly. It's an older series.
And
the manga is from the 70s, and the original anime is from the 70s/80s. So
I watched all of that shit in this.
Just a lot of these things just don't hold up. I feel like.
Yeah, that's why they don't hold up for me.
Yeah, I don't. I'm still watching it. I don't dislike it.
Like it's still. I like it. Like
it's still colorful
I like what
though, visually.
It's very colorful. Yes, it's the way. It's very beautifully. It's very beautiful to look at. And I love the OP. I've got to give it that. I freaking
is great too.
Yeah.
The OP theme is great.
The OP is one of my favorites of the year, probably. Yeah. Honestly, the OP is really good.
Now the reason I'm also watching this is because of the author. I don't know if anyone of you have read the manga when you were younger called Ranma. I've grown up with Ranma.
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's really good manga actually. So it's the same author. So that's
because it's the same author as Mason and Koukyuu and Inuyasha as well.
Yeah.
I thought there's also Kamaguri Orange Road. I think.
That's another one of hers. Yeah,
I read that one and watched that one.
Yeah,
she's actually done a lot. She's done a lot. Like she's also done some horror as well. There's Mermaid Sky, I believe it's called.
I read that one.
Some other random ass 80s horror OVA thing that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, but it's apparently really shit. So
I didn't watch that one, or whatever that is. I heard about it.
So she's a mixed bag. Like there is some great stuff in there, but there's some terrible stuff.
It just didn't hold up with time. It didn't.
Yeah.
For me, that's why. For me, I don't think I've really enjoyed any of her series. But it's just like if you like that sort of classic thing, good for you. It's just not my thing. I don't think it's not inherently better than most of the stuff we get nowadays. It's just that it's a kind of a taste sort of thing, and for many people, it's just just not going to be a thing because it's kind of a dated thing. It's probably at the time she was writing them, it was like the preferences, the standards, all that, like it would have been a hit.
It was just
But
that
now-
particular time period, yeah.
There's still a lot of fans for it. So
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm still giving it a 10 out of 10 because what they've done though is that they have actually cut out some stuff from the manga as well because they've pretty much what they're calling streamlining it. So they're only telling the main important stories.
I'm so glad it's
from the
cut.
manga.
I'm at least glad they cut out that one annoying ass fucking character from the original series. The one little 10-10 sort of.
I think a lot of the characters are kind of annoying. And you know the guy.
Well, they're all annoying. Yeah.
I mean,
But
Well,
then
maybe
it
they
was
haven't. With 1010, I think it's because I think 1010 is going to show up at some point, but
Oh
yeah,
no.
I don't know when.
Yeah, so far my most annoying character is Mendo whenever he's in the dark, because he's afraid of the dark and he starts
Oh,
You
Jesus.
know what? I
really
think
cringe
that
whenever
I honestly Mendo doesn't annoy me. I actually I actually hate Ataru a lot more, mainly because of his annoying freaking pervert habits. Like
Moroboshi,
that's
right?
more
Yeah.
Moroboshi. Yeah, that is more annoying to me than it's dark, I'm scared. Like that that doesn't annoy me.
It's sad because the one who's voice
I'm not really
acting,
crazy
like,
about. I'm not really crazy about like any character. And like Lum's alright. Like some of these other ones, but
Lum's okay.
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not-
at least she's the least. She's the one that is like the least, the much less of the poison. Like she's just there.
She's the best girl. in this
At
show.
least she's devoted. I will give it that. It's just
Yeah.
that everyone else is pretty much a goddamn idiot. Like literally,
There's
no one's
still-
fucking using a
that's the
brain
thing,
there.
Yeah, we're still because there's going to be with Urusei Yatsura, they're going to adapt everything. Like they're going to adapt the entire manga. So there is still characters we have not been introduced yet in the anime that I know are coming. Like it's only in the last episode I think they introduced Ben-10. So I'm glad she's in the anime, but there's one particular character in the manga that is going to be interesting when she is introduced, because it's a character in which she obviously she's a female character, but her father thinks she's a boy and treats her like a boy.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's going to be that's going to be really annoying when
Oh
she is introduced.
no! Oh,
I think
no.
Rio's finally remembered this particular character.
I feel like that's gonna get
Oh,
canceled.
boy.
That's gonna get canceled on Twitter for sure.
Oh, 100%,
geez.
100%.
If Urusei Yatsura suddenly starts getting popularity because of that,
I don't know what to think.
I might have to go. I might end up quitting Twitter.
If it wasn't for the production, I probably wouldn't be watching this show still.
Yeah,
but
I
I
mean,
am still
production
keeping
is
it.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
I'm
the
enjoying
production
watching
is
it.
really
Stone
good.
Ocean get this sort of production.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's David Productions is the studio, so it makes sense because they've done the whole of JoJo.
Yeah.
They've also
And
done Cells That
JoJo,
Work.
from what I saw, Stone Ocean, it does not look as good as this.
Yeah, I've
But that's
definitely
probably
heard.
because of Netflix. I feel like Netflix has something to do with that.
Yeah, Netflix probably hasn't helped at all. So yeah, David Productions
JoJo
has
got just disrespected by Netflix's priorities. It's just ridiculous. Like I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of Stone Ocean myself, but the way it was treated, that was just uncalled for. And to just give all of what could have been Stone Ocean to this, I just can't. I'm just so exasperated. Like why? Just why? Like that this could have been what Stone Ocean would have looked like.
a shame.
Didn't get it.
Oh well. That's all I can really say about Urusei Yatsura. It's
Yeah.
it's another long one, so it's another
Yeah, it's like
Another season.
50 episodes,
23
isn't it?
no, it's
gonna be cut. It's gonna be put into 2 seasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be
Two
so it's 23 seasons. Sorry, 23 seasons. 23 episodes each. Is from what I understand. So it's weird because on Mal the part 2 or season 2 for Urusei Yatsura has disappeared. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last one on the list I haven't watched.
Yeah, are any guys watching this or?
No, I'm not.
I started it because they said it was a recap of the first seasons, the first few episodes, but eventually I stopped. I didn't dislike it. I honestly thought it was quite good, but just not enough to keep me going.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and this is encouragement of climb.
Yeah, I've just heard like the Sakuga community like praise this one. That's only that.
Really?
I haven't dove into it though.
Mhm.
So
I honestly haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah,
I think it's like a slice of life. I think it's like a cute girls and cute thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're going out climbing
Apparently, it's like
mountains.
in the same vein as Laid Back Camp, from what I understand.
Yeah.
But I think Laid Back Camp is considered better.
I think it's
Not
like
surprising.
the number one slice of life on
Yeah.
the list or something like that now, maybe.
I'm not feeling this one. Like I know it's from what I keep hearing from the soccer community, it's a very healthy production, but if it's not having a substance for me, it's just not doing it for me. I'm sorry. Like it has some really nice looking cuts and directed episodes. I will give it that. But there isn't really, like, I've even seen these blogs. And I was like, yeah, I get it. There's something with the characters and all, and how it just comes a full circle. But it doesn't have me emotionally invested. It just doesn't. It just doesn't have that for me. Like, so even if I can give credit to it, I just came away from Yamano Susume with nothing, which is sad because I did express interest in it because it looks aesthetically pleasing. It's pretty nice and like at least it still has its really nice stuff to it, but it's just like I came out with not much at all. It's just there, like to put it lightly. I mean, I again, but I won't disrespect anyone who do enjoy it, who do really enjoy it. I know there's a bunch of people, especially mostly from the soccer community, that would enjoy this for sure.
Yeah, I see.
All right.
Are there any other shows not on the list that you guys want to talk about, or can we just end it right here?
I think we can end right there. We forgot
I think we can end it.
we forgot to read what Madlat said about Urusei Yatsura, though.
He dropped
Yeah,
it.
he dropped it. The
not
company was shit
surprising.
after episode 2, and I can't get behind any of the characters. They have been cringy boring.
Cringy boring.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
I will
Happy
finally
New
say,
Year, he said.
okay, there's something I do want to. I'm not going to talk about Yoanmushi, but I want to talk about Ore Mumono Mask of Truth, because now it finally ended, because it started last year.
Oh yeah.
That was a slog. I hate to say this, but the only thing really keeping it in for me was the opening and the ending, because
They did bring back the OP. They brought back the OP from from
the first one.
That was
but
pretty cool.
it's such a slog.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel anything from it.
I've been
Like
watching
Kong
this
is
whole
good.
thing.
Kong is good. Is
Yeah.
a nice character, but it's just like I'm watching this. And I'm just like, even though I haven't really experienced a visual novel. I don't know if Memory has. But
I've only dabbled in it a little bit, so
like it.
like that,
that's
been in the back of my mind. That's been in the
just
back of my mind
felt-
while I've been watching. Is like visual novel. I'm gonna be doing the visual novel.
It just felt flat. Like the emotional, like sometimes some of the stuff that was supposed to be emotional. I hate to say this, but I actually just laughed instead because I just felt like
Yeah, that's
because
the worst.
that was so
That's
bad.
the
That
worst
was
on
that's
that.
not good. That just goes to show that this was not a good visual novel adaptation at all. And considering that it's White Fox doing it, and White Fox has been kind of in the mud recently, kind of just says a lot. It's sad because this could have been better. This could have been way better looking.
Yeah, it is one of the highest rated like VNs of all time. Actually.
Really?
And it just got this.
Yeah.
And it just got this sort of lackadaisical adaptation, to say the least. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty.
at least I want to try at least
I'm in the middle on it.
looking a little bit into the visual novel more, like Memory is. At least it will get me interested in that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing
I guess we
wanna
could leave
bring
off
up.
with like, I know some people already said it, but like, what would you guys say is your anime of the season? Like, I know Kawhi's is Chainsaw Man,
Yeah.
right?
Bocchi the Rock.
And then
Bocchi the Rock.
Bocchi the Rock.
It would have been Bleach if Bocchi the Rock didn't start just getting better and better with each episode. Like
I would say
if it
for
wasn't for that, it
me-
would have been Bleach.
I would say for me, it's probably Mob. I'd say Mob.
Oh, that's a
That's
great
terrible.
choice, honestly.
I will also say, you know what? I'll also say Chainsaw Man, mainly because it's finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, because obviously Shadow is continuing, and so is Immoral-kun, so can't really say their anime of the season because in fact they're still going.
Oh yeah, Mad Lad said his was Eminence and Shadow.
Yeah, his. Yeah.
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 That's an
Alright.
okay
Yeah.
choice, honestly.
But yeah, overall, I don't know about you guys, but I think for me the fall season it was pretty decent. It was a pretty good season. I mean, I wouldn't say I liked it
Hey, I got
as much as the spring or
I
like the
got
winter
like
season, but-
three. I got three stuff from this into my favorites. I'm happy.
yeah.
I'm happy with this.
Yeah, you can't
Understandable.
complain about that.
Now we're getting into a more laid back season, though, I think, in the winter season.
I think Villain Saga will be
Yeah,
carrying
it's-
this for me.
Yeah.
I'm still
And
not so sure how to feel about Bungo Stray Dogs. I know it will be entertaining, but
That's
I
what
don't
I'm most
know.
excited about. Is
Yeah, I'm
Vinland
hyped
Bungo.
to- Yeah,
Yeah.
Bungo
But I'm
Stray Dogs,
also
hyped at
interested in
least.
this. I'm also interested in this near anime.
Oh, yeah,
I hope it's a great.
yeah.
So actually, yeah, I'm looking forward to it
I
too.
am
But
too.
it's not like it's
I haven't
something I
put-
feel like I'm not so sure how I'm gonna feel about it once it does come out. Like it's
haven't
gonna
played-
look great, but
Yeah, I haven't played the game, but I'm still very curious about it.
Same here.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
I've seen gameplay of Nier Automata and it was like, how are they gonna adapt this? How are they gonna make this work? So it'll be interesting to see how that plays
It's
out.
A1
shall
picture, so
see.
it's probably gonna be fine.
Oh yeah, it's probably gonna be fire.
We shall
Yeah.
see.
But yeah, are we ready to end this podcast?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
I think
right.
That's it.
Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to these guys' channels. Follow me on Twitter. Support my Patreon. Links in the description down below. And I will see you guys next time, or should I say next year.
Yeah.